Chapter 133. You're at the peak of the hidden star realm. How did you get in? Why didn't the soldiers' instruments detect you? Li Changtian was very curious, and so were the other three. Although the army didn't check him, the soldiers all had instruments on them. Even the star concealing ring couldn't hide from those instruments. Otherwise, they would have brought in the peak of the hidden star realm. Jiang Changkong said calmly, I was at the late stage of the hidden star realm when I came in. I just made a breakthrough. Isn't your breakthrough speed a bit too fast? Ji Qingming muttered, as if he had thought of something. I remember now. You were at the peak of Stargate and your combat power was at the middle stage of the hidden star realm. The peak of Stargate and the middle stage of the hidden star realm. The two hidden star realm experts were shocked. Li Changtian's face was also filled with shock. Among the little perverts in the big province, there aren't many who can do this. Naive. Jiang Changkong shook his head and sighed. I've been hiding my strength and suppressing my strength to fight with Lin Jie. Okay, let's go. Jiang Changkong stopped the topic and made up a few words. He had indeed improved a bit too fast. But it's all thanks to you. Didn't you think that you made a big profit and I lost a lot? In fact, I didn't lose a lot. With my strength, I can completely crush everyone here. The good things here will depend on everyone's abilities. They will all be mine. You've given me star stones, but you're just here for fun. The five of them pulled each other and stepped into the pale area. The scene in front of them changed. The four of them quickly released their astral power to protect themselves. Jiang Changkong's scorching sun art was automatically activated again. His body was covered in flames, which scared the people who were pulling him back. This place, the flames were restrained. Jiang Changkong withdrew his astral power and looked in front of him in surprise. The golden sea of fire stretched as far as the eye could see. It was a world of fire. The golden flames danced. Even the two hidden star realm experts in the late stage of the hidden star realm fell hot. Li Changtian's body was already covered in sweat. Ji Qingming's flame astral power was slightly better than his, but it wasn't the scorching sun astral power after all. This damn place. These flames are only slightly weaker than the star demon. Li Changtian wiped his sweat and said, This should be where the star demon lives. A late-stage star bodhisattva said, The blazing sun flames sea. Could Yangshi be here? It's possible. It's just that this space is obviously different from the previous one. I can't see the end of it. Li Changtian looked around. Other than the pale, white area behind them, everything else was covered in golden flames. Let's go. Jiang Changkong took the lead and walked forward. Although the golden sea of flames was powerful, it wasn't harmful to him, who cultivated the ardent sun technique. Instead, it could enhance his strength. The five of them entered the sea of fire. The two late-stage constellation realm experts were protecting Li Changtian and his companion. The surrounding flames danced, and it was abnormally quiet. Occasionally, one could see deep and huge footprints on the ground. It was left behind by the star demon. The four of them cautiously followed behind Jiang Changkong, not daring to move recklessly. The five of them were not slow, but after walking for several minutes, they still had not reached the end. Their surroundings were still surrounded by a sea of fire. I still can't see the end. A late-stage constellation realm expert frowned. The temperature here, however, seems to have dropped a little. Jiang Changkong nodded. The temperature of the flames is slightly lower. The temperature of the flames was indeed lower, but not by much. It didn't affect them much. Roar. The star demon roared. The surrounding flames trembled, and a huge figure covered in raging flames ran in the sea of fire. Li Changtian said in surprise, Mid-stage constellation realm. It seems like there are quite a few constellation realm star demon here. Jiang Changkong was surprised. He flicked his finger, and a beam of blazing sun star power flew out. It turned into a saber light and cut off the huge star demon's sharp claws. Buzz! The surrounding flames danced and fused into the star demon's wound. The wound healed rapidly, and the sharp claws flew back under the control of a strange power. Could it be that this star demon has also condensed the godly body of the sun? Li Changtian said in surprise. No. Jiang Changkong shook his head. He circulated the blazing sun star power, opened his palm, and slashed with his finger. A wound appeared on his palm, and golden blood seeped out. Buzz! Wisps of flames flew over and entered the wound. The wound healed rapidly. "This is the flame healing you?" The four of them said in shock. Jiang Changkong looked at the star demon. "Just now, the flame healed him. Now it's also healing me. It seems like this place is a treasure land for blazing sun star power cultivators." Roar! The star demon's injury healed. It roared and pounced over, stirring up the flames around it. "Bury him." Jiang Changkong flicked his finger again. This time, it was a black and white Tai Chi diagram. With a boom, the star demon exploded, and only a star stone was left. Jiang Changkong held the star stone. There was no martial arts information. "It should be an ordinary star stone. This place is very strange. Let's be careful," a late-stage star bodhisattva said. Jiang Changkong nodded and led them forward. After walking for a few minutes, Li Changtian suddenly said, "It's so comfortable." "Yes, it's indeed comfortable. These flames actually have a hint of coolness." The other three also said in surprise. Jiang Changkong opened and closed his eyes. He was still surrounded by golden flames. However, these flames were not hot at all. Instead, they were cool. Even Li Changtian and the others could place their palms on a flame that had no heat at all. This coolness, Jiang Changkong frowned and did not say anything. "What's wrong?" The four of them looked at him. "Nothing. Let's continue." Jiang Changkong shook his head and did not say anything. This coolness, no, it should be cold, was very similar to the moon. Could it be that there were fragments of the moon stored here? He did not know if there would be a reaction between the fragments of such a treasure. Jiang Changkong thought as he walked. He had to find an opportunity to give a try. Thinking of this, he stopped. "Let's split up. It's not easy to find the Yang stone if we stay together." The four of them looked at each other and said, "That's fine. Thank you for taking care of us along the way, Brother Changkong." They were worried that they might encounter the star demon at the peak of the star bodhisattva realm. However, since Jiang Changkong did not bring them along, they could only tactfully split up and did not dare to follow him. "Well, goodbye." Jiang Changkong flashed and left. The four of them did not stay any longer and continued forward, but they were even more careful. When the four of them were far away, a black and white Tai Chi diagram appeared in Jiang Changkong's palm with the tip of the sword inside. The Tai Chi diagram expanded rapidly, forcing back the surrounding flames. Soon, it dissipated, and the tip of the sword was revealed, unrestrained. The tip of the sword lay quietly in his palm, without the slightest abnormality. Jiang Changkong was not disappointed. After all, he was just giving it a try. Just as he was about to put away the tip of the sword, the surrounding flames suddenly gathered. The tip of the sword trembled and a cold aura exploded. Jiang Changkong's left hand was instantly frozen. The cold aura violently rushed into his body. The golden flames around him stopped dancing and were sealed by a layer of ice. The black and white Tai Chi diagram immediately appeared and sealed the tip of the sword. The cold aura retracted again. Jiang Changkong shook his head helplessly. It seemed that he could not count on this thing. Putting away the tip of the sword, Jiang Changkong chose a direction and walked forward, slightly away from the four of them. 10 minutes later, Jiang Changkong encountered an early-stage Stargate star demon. However, this star demon was not a flame. Instead, its entire body was silvery white and emitted a cold aura. Beside it were pillars of ice. In front of him was a world of ice. As far as the eye could see, there were pillars of ice. Jiang Changkong's inferno star power was suppressed to the extreme. It was difficult to even mobilize it. The star demon did not attack him. It only looked at him, because behind it was a world of golden flames. The golden sun and the silvery cold aura formed two extremes. At the intersection, two rays of light, one gold and one silver, divided into two regions. The star demon was afraid of the fiery region. It only dared to look, but did not dare to come closer. In a black and white Tai Chi diagram, the tip of the sword trembled and almost rushed out of the diagram. I can really sense it. Yin Yang. Jiang Chong Kong took a step forward and directly stepped into the silver-white region. The cold attacked. The star demon growled and no longer hesitated. Its sharp claws emitted a silver-white light as it attacked Jiang Chong Kong. The Tai Chi diagram appeared, and the early-stage Stargate star demon exploded and turned into a mist of blood. Jiang Chong Kong withdrew his energy and put away the star stone. He quickly walked forward. After thinking for a while, he took out the tip of the sword and put away the Tai Chi diagram. This time, the tip of the sword did not release any cold aura. Instead, it floated in the air and flew out on its own. Jiang Chong Kong's eyes lit up, and he quickly chased after it. Surrounded by the black and white Tai Chi diagram, he was not afraid of the cold aura or the suppression. The blazing sun star power in his body had all turned into Tai Chi. Chapter 134. He followed the tip of the sword for more than 10 minutes and then stopped. There was a golden barrier in front of him with golden flames dancing on it. Boom! Cold air burst out, and a sword intent that could destroy everything was released. A ray of sword chi flew out from the tip of the sword. The silver sword chi was like a crescent moon. Boom! The sword chi struck the golden barrier, but it didn't move at all. Instead, the sword chi collapsed and dissipated in the cold land. Jiang Chong Kong didn't find it strange that the tip of the sword couldn't do anything to the flame barrier. How could a barrier that existed in this cold land be broken by a ray of sword chi? If it was sharp, he might be able to break it with the tip of the sword. But forget about the sword chi. He wasn't afraid of the sword chi, but the sharpness of the tip of the sword. The tip of the sword seemed to have used up all its energy and fell down. Jiang Chong Kong picked up the tip of the sword and wrapped it in the black and white Tai Chi symbol. He looked at the golden barrier and saw that it was still the power of the golden sun. Jiang Chong Kong thought for a bit and pressed one hand on the barrier to convert the power of the sun into astral power. Buzz! The barrier moved and opened up automatically, revealing a passage that was wide enough for him to pass through. Jiang Chong Kong was overjoyed. He didn't expect that the cultivators of the sun astral power would be so well taken care of. As soon as he stepped into the golden barrier, he felt a gust of cold air. Jiang Chong Kong's expression changed. His feet were quickly covered in ice, and the ice was spreading at a speed visible to the naked eye. In front of him, there were 7 frozen corpses, 3 human corpses, and 4 star demon corpses. At the center of the bodies was a broken stone tablet that was full of words and patterns. Essence, chi, and spirit. Essence, chi, and spirit my asterisk S. Jiang Chong Kong immediately released all his astral power. Crack! The ice rapidly shattered, and Jiang Chong Kong hurriedly retreated. He was about to die, and he couldn't take any more of his essence, chi, and spirit. What a terrifying cold air! The cold air disappeared after he retreated from the golden barrier. Jiang Chong Kong's feet were cold, and he couldn't feel anything. The sun astral power circulated a few times before it gradually recovered. What's written on a stone tablet? Those corpses are the humans and star demon who broke into this place over the years. Jiang Chong Kong was deep in thought. Many humans had died here, but those who came here were probably not very strong. Those warriors from the Stargate and Stargate wanted to break in? Wasn't that a joke? If the early stage of Stargate were to come here, they would probably freeze to death or die of heat outside. There was also essence, chi, and soul. This was also a problem. Where did that essence, chi, and soul prompt come from? After pondering for a moment, Jiang Chong Kong activated the blazing sun star's power again and opened the barrier. This time, he did not enter. Instead, he watched from afar. Essence, energy, and spirit. 100,000, 100,000. Do you wish to withdraw? Jiang Chong Kong's face was filled with horror. The essence, energy, and spirit came from those corpses, and each of them was worth 100,000. How many years has the distorted starlight existed? After the soul and will were obliterated, only the purest essence, energy, and spirit remained. What kind of terrifying expert was he when he was alive? These corpses were well preserved because they were sealed in ice, but their faces were as pale as ghosts. Be it humans or star demons, all of their gazes were fixed on the stone tablet. Jiang Changkong used his eyesight to look at the stone tablet. The words on it were strange, and more importantly, he could not see them clearly. The stone tablet seemed to be covered by a thin layer of gauze. The words and patterns on it were very blurry, and he could not see them clearly. Vaguely, he only saw a blurry person holding a sword in his right hand and a saber in his left. Cold air wreaked havoc and extended out from the barrier passage. Jiang Changkong hurriedly withdrew the blazing sun star's power, and the golden barrier closed automatically. This is 700,000 essence, energy, in that stone tablet. Jiang Changkong stood outside the barrier, thinking about how to obtain the treasures. 700,000 essence, energy, and another 50,000 would be enough for him to upgrade 2 of his martial arts to perfection. If I use the Tai Chi diagram at full power, I should be able to resist for a while, enough for me to get close to the nearest corpse. Jiang Changkong thought about it. When he extracted the essence, energy, and spirit to upgrade the Tai Chi mysterious art, he could hold on for a longer time. Even if it was just a breath's time, he should be able to escape. Such an opportunity was right in front of him, and he would give it up if he couldn't get it. After taking a deep breath, Jiang Changkong opened the golden barrier again, and this time he directly rushed into it. The Tai Chi diagram suddenly burst out, protecting his body, and went straight to the nearest star demon corpse. Close. Extract essence, energy, and spirit to upgrade the Tai Chi mysterious art. The star power in his body quickly increased, and all of it was added to the Tai Chi mysterious art. The black and white Tai Chi diagram shone brightly, and the surrounding cold air was forced back. Jiang Changkong turned around and ran. He looked back at the stone tablet, and the content on it was a little clearer. He couldn't understand the words, but he could understand the pattern. The face was still blurry, but the rest of the body was clear. On the pattern, there was a route marked. Could it be the route of cultivation? Jiang Changkong guessed that it was very likely. He looked at his own data, and there was indeed a change. Jiang Changkong, Star Treasury Peak Middle Rank Martial Arts, Diamond Indestructible Divine Art, Perfection, 1/1875000 Tai Chi Mysterious Art, Desheng, 10001/375000 3 strikes, Desheng, 1/375000 Blazing Sun Art, Desheng, 1/375000 Yuling Art, Desheng, 1/375000 Low Rank Upper Martial Arts, Cold Moon Art, Beginner 0/2000 Essence, Energy and Spirit, 95989. 5 just one pattern, and it's a low rank upper grade? There were a lot of patterns on the stone tablet, and they were all broken. If all the patterns were added up, would it be a higher level? Definitely. This pattern was at most a simple route of cultivation. If all the patterns were added up, the route would be more complicated, and the level would naturally be higher. Jiang Changkong pondered. Should I go in again? Would I be able to get closer to the other corpses if I practiced this martial art? I can try. This way, I'll be practicing another martial art. Jiang Changkong thought. Although he would be stronger and have more astral powers if he practiced another martial art, the amount of energy he would need in the future would be even more terrifying. However, the amount of essence, chi, and spirit required in the future would be even more terrifying. Just look at the current situation. A martial art to perfection required nearly 2 million essence, chi, and spirit. However, if he practiced it, his blazing sun art would be matched with the cold moon art. 2 words, perfect match. He hadn't found a suitable martial art for a long time. Now, the moon and the sun corresponded with the black and white Tai Chi diagram, which made the Tai Chi mysterious art more powerful. Also, his other identity also needed an attribute. They both used blades, and they both had the blazing sun attribute. That was obviously telling others that they were the same person. Although the power of the 3 strikes was great, it lacked the attribute enhancement. I'll take a look first. If I finish looking at the patterns and the level is suitable, I'll practice it to make up for my shortcomings. If I can get the 600,000 energy, it'll be worth it to upgrade the cold moon art. Jiang Changkong finally made up his mind. If the level was suitable, he would practice it. If the level wasn't, he would find another martial art to make up for it. Also, the flame had special treatment for the blazing sun astral power. The martial art on the stone steel should have special treatment for the cold qi, right? If he couldn't resist the cold qi after practicing it, then he wouldn't practice it in the future. 90,000 essence, qi, and spirit were nothing to him right now. Jiang Changkong opened the barrier again and rushed in. He looked at the patterns and memorized 2 of them. The level didn't change, so he continued to look. There were at least 20 patterns on the broken stone steel. When he saw the 10th pattern, the level finally changed. Middle stage, inferior grade. This surprised Jiang Changkong. He continued to look at it. After going back and forth 7 or 8 times, he finally memorized all the patterns. Middle stage, inferior grade. It was just right for his current stage. Although I can't understand it, I can still practice it. Jiang Changkong smiled in satisfaction and started to improve. The 90,000 energy was just enough to upgrade to Deshang. Another stargate appeared in Jiang Changkong's body. It was the silver-white stargate. His body now had the power of the moon. The cold qi was not weaker than the blazing sun astral power. Tai qi circulated around his body. The power of the moon and the sun intertwined, forming a gold and silver Tai qi diagram. Half of it was blazing hot, the other half cold. Then it dissipated. Now it was time to see if the power of the moon could resist the cold qi. Chapter 135. He used his essence, breath, and spirit to level up the cold moon art. Jiang Changkong's strength increased again. Yin and yang intertwined in his body. Jiang Changkong, peak of hidden star middle tier martial art. Indestructible diamond divine art. Perfection. 1/1875000 Taiji mysterious art. Deshang. 10001/375000 graceful 3 blades. Deshang. 1/375000 blazing sun art. Deshang. 1/375000 Yuling art. Deshang. 1/37500 cold moon art. Deshang. 1/37500 essence, breath, and spirit. 5988. 5 dense cold air surged. This icy land no longer suppressed him at all. It was as if he had returned to his homeland. The cold air entered his body and blended with the power of the moon. Cold moon art had a set of saber, sword, and movement techniques. However, this saber was a left-handed saber, and the sword was a right-handed sword. They both had 3 moves, and the names were the same: Moon Flare, Moon Shadow, and Moon Haze. The movement technique was called Moon Flowing Light, and it was not weaker than the Mystic Sun Step. After comprehending the cold moon art for an hour, Jiang Changkong suppressed the power of the moon and used the power of the sun to open the barrier again. After passing through the barrier, the cold air swept over again. The power of the moon circulated, and his body was covered in a silver-white light. The cold air that swept over was no longer cold. It came from the same source and was no longer hostile. Jiang Changkong stepped on the icy ground. The silver-white icicles on the ground reflected his figure. He stepped in front of the corpse, and Jiang Changkong extracted his essence, breath, and spirit. 600,000. The corpse was still frozen. Jiang Changkong walked in front of the stone tablet and touched it. It was cold. The stone tablet was broken, as if it had been cut by a sharp blade. The cut was smooth and flat. The bottom was deep underground, and the stone tablet was sealed in ice. The words on it were like tadpoles. He did not recognize any of them. The face of the figure on the picture was blurry. He did not know if it was because of the ravages of time. Other than the face, everything else was clear. He pressed on the stone tablet with one hand and felt the cold air. Jiang Changkong was a little tempted. He didn't recognize this stone tablet, but that didn't mean others didn't. If he could bring the stone tablet out, he might be able to sell it for a high price. There was also that special star stone. He was going to be rich. With a thought, the astral power in his body turned into the astral power of the moon. Buzz! Immense astral power gushed out and enveloped the steel. Rumble. The stone steel trembled under the impact of the violent astral force. A boundless chill was emitted from the stone steel. Jiang Changkong's expression changed as he was sent flying by the cold chi. Crack! The golden barrier shattered in an instant, turning into golden starlight that dissipated in this icy space. Rumble. At the same time, an earth-shattering explosion came from afar. Flames soared into the sky, and a fiery light soared into the sky. Crack! The void tore apart and swallowed Jiang Changkong. Bang! Jiang Changkong's vision went black. When he opened his eyes again, he had intimate contact with the ground. As the scorching heat assaulted him, he quickly circulated the blazing sun star's power. This is a fire zone. Jiang Changkong had a blank look on his face. What the F asterisk CK? He flew here? Bang! The void above his head cracked, and two figures fell down. One of them was in a more miserable state, landing face first. Ouch! With a cry of pain, the person got up and rubbed his face. When he saw Jiang Changkong, he stopped rubbing his face and said in surprise, "Changkong, we meet again." Yes, what a coincidence. Jiang Changkong's face twitched. This guy was Li Changtian, whom he had just parted with not long ago. "Young master, take it easy." The other person got up. It was Li Changtian's follower, the late-stage Hidden Star Realm cultivator. "I'm fine. It's just a little painful," Li Changtian said. After a pause, he said in a depressed tone, "Changkong, do you know what's going on? Just now, a strong flame power blew us away." "I'm the same as you." Jiang Changkong rubbed his forehead and looked at the golden flames around him. "I'm thinking about the reason. Let's not talk about the cold area for now. However, it was the flame energy that blew them away, not the cold air. That's right, there was such a dense flame energy here, and it could even use a barrier to seal the lunar steel. This proved that there was a treasure here that was not inferior to, or even stronger than, the steel. Young master, when I was chasing after you, someone fell in," the late-stage Hidden Star Realm cultivator said. "Fell in?" Jiang Changkong frowned. "Yes, if I'm not mistaken, it was Luo Yunshun and his protector," the late-stage Hidden Star Realm cultivator said. "Protector?" Jiang Changkong was puzzled. "Like you, yes, we follow young master to ensure his safety. We are called protectors. You will know when you go to the big provinces in the future. Usually, geniuses have protectors," the late-stage Hidden Star Realm cultivator explained. "Bodyguards? What new title?" Jiang Changkong curled his lips. The late-stage Hidden Star Realm cultivator was slightly embarrassed. "You can say that. Oh, we have to hurry. I think I saw Yang Shi." Li Changtian suddenly stood up and said hurriedly, "Yang Shi?" Jiang Changkong's eyes narrowed. "Are you sure?" Li Changtian said with certainty, "Absolutely." He also fell in from a crack in space. Jiang Changkong looked around and frowned. "Do you still remember the direction?" Li Changtian was speechless. The surrounding flames were all the same. It seemed like they could not be distinguished. Li Changtian frowned and thought for a while. "The temperature of the flames is very high, even higher than when we came in. Let's go according to the temperature." The late-stage Hidden Star Realm cultivator said, "The space here is not endless. Once we find it, we can hear it with a shout." "Okay." Jiang Changkong nodded. The three of them split up and searched according to the temperature of the flames. The nearby flames, cool air, and extreme yin qi had already seeped into this place. Stepping on the flames, they used the mystic yang steps. Even without using the Yuling art, they could still move forward quickly. In just a few breaths, Jiang Changkong had already gone far away. The temperature of the surrounding flames was getting lower and lower. Jiang Changkong frowned. He might have gone in the wrong direction. He should change direction and move forward. After a few minutes, Jiang Changkong stopped in his tracks. He could vaguely hear someone shouting. Jiang Changkong hurried over. The voice gradually became clearer. It was really calling him. After a few breaths, Jiang Changkong saw Li Changtian running and shouting. "Found it?" Jiang Changkong asked. Li Changtian panted and said, "Found it. However, your Nan Tian Wang is in big trouble now." We should hurry over. Jiang Changkong's expression was calm. What trouble? This time it's big. Not only did we find Yang Shi, but also a broken, blazing sunstone tablet. There are ancient words and patterns on it. It should be a martial art. Li Tian explained as he led the way. Then Nan Tianwang said it was his. The others didn't agree, so they started fighting. Oh, Jiang Changkong replied indifferently. If they started fighting, so be it. There are also some star demon. He's not strong, but he's not easy to kill. Don't worry about him, Li Tian said. Rumble. As they got closer, Jiang Changkong could already hear the sounds of a group of martial artists fighting. Star power exploded and flames surged. Although Nan Tianwang was at the peak of Stargate, he was like a fish in water in this fiery area. Although he couldn't fight against Xing Tsang, he could protect himself with the protection of the others. You despicable people. This blazing sun star power should belong to my Nan family, Nan Tianwang roared. Bullsh *T. It belongs to whoever is stronger. Although there were 2 late-stage Xing Tsang cultivators on Nan Tianwang's side, the others were not weak. Almost all of them had brought late-stage Xing Tsang guardians with them. Nan Tianwang was so angry that the fat on his body trembled. ****, Nan Tianwang, don't panic. Your Jiang Changkong is here, Li Changtian shouted. Nan Tianwang. My Jiang Changkong? Jiang Changkong. Young man, thank you for bringing me here. But you're wrong about one thing. I'm not his. That's why this place is all mine. Chapter 136. Jiang Changkong. The peak of Stargate in Gangshui Castle? Who cares about a mid-stage hidden star cultivator? The group of people snickered. Nan Tianwang's chubby face trembled as a hint of gratitude flashed through his eyes. Changkong, I know you see me as a brother, but it's best if you don't interfere. You're thinking too much. Who treats you as a brother? Jiang Changkong stepped forward. Gangshui Castle had 8 spots, and the Anding province had 15. He had killed 3 of them. Apart from him, there were still 19 left. Now, all of them were present. 10 of them were late-stage hidden star cultivators, and 9 were mid-stage hidden star cultivators. 2 of them were brought by Nan Tianwang. Li Tian and Ji Qingming's guard were helping Nan Tianwang. 6 late-stage hidden star cultivators were attacking 4. The other 5 were attacking Nan Tianwang, Luo Yunshun, and Ji Qingming. Nan Tianwang was hiding behind the 2 of them, cursing at the others. There was some star demon around, but most of them were Stargate. Occasionally, there were a few early-stage hidden star cultivators, but they were no threat to them. It seemed that there was only one peak hidden star cultivator. Nan Tianwang, let me help you. Li Changtian shouted. The golden sword aura broke through the flames and entered the battlefield. Changkong, don't interfere. This belongs to the Nan family. No one can take it away. Nan Tianwang shouted as he dodged. What a joke. Your Nan family got a piece of the scorching sun star steel. Do you really think the scorching sun star steel here belongs to you? One person sneered and pushed Luo Yinshin back. The Nan family is amazing, but this world doesn't belong to you. That's right. There are many forces stronger than your Nan family. The others were fanatical. At this moment, they didn't even care about the sunstone. They only cared about the so-called star steel. Was that broken steel a star steel? Jiang Changkong pondered as he stepped into the battlefield. How dare you interfere? I'll kill you first. A young man had just forced Luo Yunshun to retreat when he saw Jiang Changkong walking towards him. He turned his sword and pointed it at Jiang Changkong's vital points. Kill yourself. Jiang Changkong did not even bother to lift his eyelids. He said calmly and circulated Taiji. Buzz. Pucci. He turned the sword around, and all the astral power returned to him. While he was still in shock, the sword had already slit his throat. Blood flowed, and his life was cut off. The Taiji diagram could neutralize all the power of those who were far weaker than him. Young master. The expression of the late-stage hidden star guardian changed. He roared in grief and anger. The horrifying star force repelled the surrounding flames and charged at Jiang Changkong. Go down and accompany your young master. Jiang Changkong flicked his finger, and a blade light sliced through the air. Thump! The figure that was charging over suddenly stopped. His head flew into the air and blood gushed out like a fountain. The headless corpse fell to the ground. The surrounding flames were still dancing. A group of star demon growled as they recovered from the injuries caused by Nantian Wang and the others. The fighting silhouettes stopped moving. It was as if they had been imprisoned, standing there stiffly. They looked at Jiang Changkong with fear in their eyes. Li Changtian and Ji Qingming had already seen his strength, so they were not shocked. He could kill a peak hidden star demon with one slash, and kill a late-stage hidden star cultivator with a flick of his finger. What was so surprising about that? Nantian Wang, you're safe now. Changkong is a peak hidden star cultivator, Li Changtian said with a smile. Gulp! He forcefully swallowed a mouthful of saliva. It was none other than Nantian Wang. He's not mine. Nantian Wang wanted to shout, but he did not dare to. What if Jiang Changkong really treated him as a brother? What if he really helped him? Nantian Wang, you're so despicable. You actually arranged for a peak hidden star cultivator to come in. Everyone was shocked and angry, but they only dared to curse and slowly retreated, killing a late-stage hidden star cultivator with a flick of his finger. Even a peak hidden star cultivator could not do this. This was the limit of a peak hidden star cultivator, right? How did you bribe those soldiers to let Jiang Changkong come in? Changkong, good brother. Nantian Wang's fat face twitched. Jiang Changkong had a smile on his face. Good brother. Nantian Wang heaved a sigh of relief. Brother, you won't make things difficult for me. A hint of joy flashed across Nantian Wang's face. He laughed and said, Now I announce that this star steel and sunstone belong to me. Nantian Wang. Does anyone have any objections? Everyone was furious, but they did not dare to say anything. Jiang Changkong's smile became even wider. I have an objection. Who? Who has an objection? Step forward. Changkong? Nantian Wang's excited expression immediately stiffened. Damn, didn't they say they were good brothers? They were brothers just now, but now you have an objection? Everyone was stunned. What was going on now? I think they're right. Treasures belong to those who are virtuous. Didn't you say it before? Everyone depends on their own ability. Jiang Changkong said calmly. Nantian Wang's expression became bitter. We are brothers. If you're a brother, come and chop you. A senior taught me. Jiang Changkong said calmly. Nantian Wang. If you're a brother, come and chop me? What kind of brother is this? Fatty, Nan was in despair. Jiang Changkong's attitude towards his brothers was very bad. Jiang Changkong walked forward step by step. He came to the center of the crowd and swept his gaze over everyone. Now, all the good things here belong to me. Does anyone have any objections? Everyone, Li Changtian and the others. Weren't you invited by Nantian Wang? No objections, Li Changtian and the others immediately said. Didn't you guys say that you'll support me even if you die? Nantian Wang looked at the four of them in a daze. Previously, we thought you were in cahoots with Changkong. Li Changtian curled his lips and said, We pledge our lives to support Changkong. Nantian Wang. You four fickle bastards. It's all your fault, Li Changtian. Why did you call him here? You even told me not to panic? I'm so king panicking now. Does anyone have any objections? Then it's settled, Jiang Changkong said calmly. Changkong, the Yang stone is in Fatty Nan's hands, Li Changtian said immediately. You sold me out too quickly, didn't you? You even changed the way you addressed me? Nantian Wang's face twitched. They were comrades just a moment ago, but in the blink of an eye, he sold them out. Changkong, my good brother, Jiang Changkong ignored Nantian Wang's pleading and his eyes turned cold. Here, Nantian Wang shivered and took out a round stone that was emitting golden flames and threw it to Jiang Changkong. Jiang Changkong, you're very powerful, but there are so many of us. If we join forces, we might not be weaker than you. A young man said coldly. The others opened their eyes and stopped retreating. Is that so? Jiang Changkong smiled and swung his blade. The sunset glow was like fire, and the setting sun was like blood. One blade, setting sun. The terrifying astral power forced everyone to retreat. The sword of setting sun used 70% of its astral power. The golden flames within a radius of a few hundred meters seemed to be drawn into the long blade. I was talking nonsense just now, boom. The sword of setting sun slashed down, and the ground cracked. The surrounding flames scattered in all directions. The people nearby couldn't escape in time and were severely injured on the spot. The star demon nearby turned into a cloud of blood mist, unable to recover even if he wanted to. After a while, the astral power dissipated, leaving a crack that was dozens of meters long and more than 10 meters deep on the ground. The person who had spoken and his protector had already disappeared without a trace. Not a single trace was left behind. Gulp! The sound of saliva being swallowed was heard again, but this time it was a collective sound. Jiang Changkong glanced at Nan Tianwang and said calmly, "Come on, let's have a try. I'll keep you company." Try my ass. That slash just now was more than the limit of astral power. It had definitely reached the astral spirit level. They wouldn't be able to win even if they had twice the number of people. I suddenly think you're right. It's all about ability. You're more capable, Nan Tianwang said bitterly. Why are you looking at me? I didn't say anything. Don't cut me. Chapter 137. In the fiery space, the black and white Tai Chi diagram flew out, and the star demon around it exploded. Nan Tianwang and the others stood aside, their legs trembling. How did they get to the peak of the hidden star realm? Were the devices of those soldiers broken? Jiang Changkong killed all the star demon and looked at them again. Of the 19 people, he had killed 4, so there were 15 left. 8 guardians and 7 prodigies from the major provinces. This place is all yours. Goodbye. Nan Tianwang cupped his fists and turned to leave. When the others saw this, they all had the intention to retreat. It's all yours. We'll meet again. Wait. A smile appeared on Jiang Changkong's face. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? Don't you want these things? The group of people stopped and looked at him in confusion. Of course they wanted it, but would he give it to them? He had already said that it was all yours. They couldn't compete with him for it. Jiang Changkong smiled. We're good friends. How can I monopolize it? Nan Tian and the others. What did he mean? Luo Yinshan was slightly surprised. Are you going to share it with us? Li Chantian and Ji Qingming were a little excited. Changkong, we are the best of brothers. We have already expressed our stance just now. We are on Jiang Changkong's side. He must be saying this to us. He wants to share it with us. I knew you wouldn't do this to me, given our relationship. Nan Tianwang seemed to feel the spring. He smiled. From now on, you're Nan Tianwang's best brother. That's right. From now on, you, Jiang Changkong, will be our brother. The others said excitedly. They had thought that there was no hope. Now that Jiang Changkong had taken the initiative to share it, it was great news. With that, the group of people took the initiative to step forward and walk towards the broken stone tablet. Hey, wait. Jiang Changkong said indifferently and stopped them. With a calm expression, he said, Nan Tianwang, you said that we're brothers, but I have something to say. I've always treated you as a friend, but you've always tricked me. I also treat you as a friend, Nan Tianwang quickly said. Jiang Changkong said faintly, 1,000 yuan for 3 slots of lower grade rank 5. You're bullying me because I don't know the market. Do you think you'd do such a thing? And you even called Luo Yinshan and the others over to buy it at a low price. Nan Tianwang explained, I said I owed you a favor, but you didn't want it. Furthermore, friendship is friendship and business is business. You can't blame me for making a loss. You're right. I've lost so much that I'm about to cry. Jiang Changkong's expression was calm. Therefore, I'm going to make a deal with you, my brothers. I selflessly shared the star steel, so you should also share your star stones selflessly. Everyone, after talking for so long, you just want star stones, right? No problem, Nan Tianwang said straightforwardly. Good brothers should share. Here are 500 pieces of star stones at the top of the 4th level. As he spoke, he took out 500 star stones from the jade pendant. Jiang Changkong snatched the jade pendant. Good brother, we're doing business now. This is not enough. I'll take it myself. Nan Tianwang, you're robbing us openly. Don't get too excited. This is business. Let's put our friendship aside first. Jiang Chongkong checked the jade pendant and said faintly, "You can go to the star steel and make a copy of it after you hand over the star stones." Chongkong, it's just a copy. Nan Tian Wang looked troubled. "Can you give it to me?" What he wanted was that star steel. Jiang Chongkong glanced at him and said, "How about this? I'll give up after you hand over the star stones. You can do whatever you want. What do you think? These are my star stones. Take them. We're brothers, so don't stand on ceremony. If you stand on ceremony with me, you won't recognize me as your brother." A group of people hurriedly gathered around and handed over the star stones. Compared to a star steel, these star stones were nothing. Jiang Chongkong happily accepted the star stones. There were no 6th grade star stones, let alone 7th grade star stones. However, these people had a lot of 4th grade and 5th grade star stones. Chongkong, Li Chantian, and Ji Qingming looked at him pitifully. "We were on your side just now. We won't use the star stones, right? Don't worry, brothers. You didn't lose anything by handing over the star stones. You can make a copy of this star steel later. Then, I'll take you to the lunar star steel and make another copy there," Jiang Chongkong said as he patted his chest. Nan Tian Wang and the others were excited. "There's another star steel? The lunar star steel? Hee, you deal with this star steel first. As for the lunar star steel, you don't seem to have any star stones left. You owe it first. I'll write you an IOU." The group of people said hurriedly. Jiang Chongkong chuckled. "Your protectors should have star stones on them. Also, it's peaceful now. Don't keep your weapons and medicines." He couldn't get any more star stones, so he could only change them into other things. As for the IOU, he didn't want it. Once they left this place, their positions would be reversed. At that time, the protector's father and backer would come. Would he dare to mention the IOU? He couldn't take the star steel with him, so he took the opportunity to plunder them. Once they left this place, they would go their separate ways and never contact each other again. The protectors had bitter expressions on their faces. They had to hand over their star stones, weapons, and medicines. After plundering them, Jiang Chongkong brought them to the star steel. "Let's go together and make a copy together. After that, you can fight for it however you want." The group of people arrived in front of the star steel. Like the broken star steel, it was engraved with tadpole characters. There were also 20 pictures of a man with a hazy face holding a long sword and circulating his energy. Middle grade martial art, mystic yang skill, beginner's level, 0/15,000 Jiang Chongkong. Mystic yang skill? Is my special star stone still valuable? It doesn't seem to be valuable anymore. With so many people making a copy, even if it wasn't everywhere, it would be worth it. Of course, some people would buy it, but they wouldn't pay too high a price. The ancient divine characters are the same as the characters on the star steel. Nan Tian Wang was full of excitement as he looked at the tadpole characters on the star steel. "Do you recognize the characters?" Jiang Chongkong asked. "No." The group of people shook their heads. "Some old guys do. We don't usually come into contact with them." They didn't have pen and paper, but these people had clothes. There was also the star demon's blood here. They copied it on their clothes and didn't miss any of the 20 pictures. After checking several times and making sure there were no mistakes, these people carefully put away the pictures. Jiang Chongkong also made 2 copies. Seeing that they had finished copying, he found the space equipment of the 4 dead people and brought them to the lunar star steel. They should be thankful that their space equipment was of a high level and hadn't been broken. They didn't know if it was because Jiang Chongkong had activated the star steel and caused it to explode, which had consumed too much energy. The group of people arrived in front of the lunar star steel. They weren't frozen, but they felt a little colder. After copying with them, Jiang Chongkong said, "Li Changtian, Ji Chengming, let's go. Let's leave this place for them to fight for." "Okay." The 2 of them hesitated for a moment, then left with the guardian. When they were far away from the crowd, Li Changtian asked in confusion, "You really don't want the star steel?" The power contained in the star steel is very terrifying. If you can absorb it and use it, you can become a high-level martial artist. Jiang Chongkong sighed softly. "Do you think you'll have a share if I can take it away? The point is, I can't move it. Even though the star's steel had exploded and consumed a lot of energy, he still couldn't move it. Since I can't move it, what else can I do? I won't be able to win against you once I leave this door. Of course, I have to run away first. As for the final ownership of the star's steel, it wasn't something he could interfere with. Whoever had the ability could take it. The four of them, I see. I was wondering why you were so kind as to make one copy each. Chapter 138. He took out the guiding stone and pointed in a direction. The five of them came to the pale area and stepped in. The sun was high in the sky. It was noon. The scenery in front of them changed. When they reappeared, there were rows of soldiers and cars. We're out already? Jiang Changkong was a bit surprised. They had just walked out of the fiery space. At that time, there was a spatial rift. No, look at the stones behind. Li Changtian turned around. The stones that should have overlapped were now arranged one by one. Behind them, there was no longer a distorted space. Instead, there was a vortex of gold and silver, absorbing the power of the stars. What happened inside? It's only been 3 days. Why did the distorted space change so much? Jiang Haibo walked over and looked at them seriously. There's a star steel inside. A group of people are fighting for it. Jiang Changkong handed him the guiding stone. Go see for yourself. This matter couldn't be hidden unless he didn't return the guiding stone. The four of them also handed him the guiding stone and said, We in Changkong did our best, hoping to protect the star steel for the Federation. Unfortunately, we couldn't beat them and were seriously injured. We could only retreat and report this matter to Lord Jiang. Jiang Changkong, I realize that you guys are even more shameless than me. But you're right. We tried our best to protect the star steel for the Federation, but we couldn't beat them. Cough, cough. The two guardians coughed lightly, blood seeping from the corners of their mouths. At the same time, they pinched Jiang Changkong. Jiang Changkong grunted, blood seeping from the corners of his mouth. Star steel? Good job, you guys. Jiang Haiba's expression changed as he said, Please take a rest. I'll report this to the Federation immediately. Jiang Changkong's face was pale, and he looked weak. We'll go back to Gangshui Castle first. Goodbye. Someone send Chang Kaisheng and the others back. Jiang Haibo hurriedly ordered someone to drive them back. He was a little unhappy with Jiang Changkong before, but now it was all gone. The star steel was a huge contribution. The five of them got into the car and quickly returned. The rest of the matter was not something they could interfere with. I've booked a hotel room and a sumptuous meal. Changkong, don't be in a hurry to go back. I've booked a room for you. Let's get together. Li Changtian said. Jiang Changkong was still hesitating. Ji Qingming said, The Star Monument is very important. Let's stay together for now. All right. Only then did Jiang Changkong agree. The car drove directly to the hotel, and the first thing the five of them did after entering the room was to take a shower. After taking a shower, the food was sent to Li Changtian's room, and he was invited over. The five of them ate together, and the two guardians ate without saying a word. Li Changtian poured a glass of wine. Changkong, a toast to you. You're too kind. Jiang Changkong finished his drink in one gulp and said, I have many things to ask you. Li Changtian and Ji Qingming looked at each other and said, Go ahead. High-level star stones are strategic reserves. Will it be difficult to get them in the future? Jiang Changkong pondered and said, Those high-level cultivators don't use star stones to cultivate. Li Changtian said, It's fine to use star stones to cultivate and build a foundation. But when one reaches the high level, star stones are not very useful. Usually, they use medicine and star crystals. Star crystals? What's that? Jiang Changkong asked. How should I put it? Star crystals are the essence of star power. They don't contain much star power. What's special is that star crystals can accelerate the absorption of star power. Li Changtian explained. Moreover, star crystals have another important function. They are helpful in condensing astrobodies. I heard that star crystals have special functions, but we don't know the details. Where do star crystals come from? Jiang Changkong asked. I'm not sure. Li Changtian and Ji Qingming shook their heads at the same time. The other two guardians didn't know either. Jiang Changkong said, But I see that you guys are quite generous. You can take out thousands of star stones of the 4th and 5th grade. It's not difficult to hunt star stones of the 4th and 5th grade. The main thing is that it's not easy to hunt star demons of the high level and above. Ji Qingming continued. Almost every high-level star stone is in storage. Why do you have so many? I can understand why the Federation has them. But do you big forces also have them? Jiang Changkong said, confused. Li Changtian said with a smile. Changkong, you know too little. When you go to a big province and make a name for yourself, you will also have high-level star stones. Or when you reach the high level and have your own force, you will also have high-level star stones. You can't tell me anything? Jiang Changkong frowned. All right, I'll tell you one thing. Before the world changed, humans dreamed of going to the moon. Now that the stars are shining, technology and martial arts are developed. Do you think the Federation won't think of ways to go there? Li Changtian said in a low voice. Jiang Changkong's body trembled slightly. He stepped into the starry sky. That's right. The stars had caused the world to change greatly. Humans would definitely think of ways to go there and explore the mystery of the stars. As for whether they could go there or not, if they could go there in the past, they could definitely go there now. It was just that they didn't know how soon they could go there. Now, everything was based on the star power. High-level star stones indeed needed to be stored. No matter how many they had, it would not be enough. You big forces are also participating in this? Are you going to store them? Jiang Changkong asked. Who doesn't want to share? Moreover, this is only one of the burning star stones. Li Changtian curled his lips and said, let's not talk about it. Let's eat and drink. Jiang Changkong wanted to ask more, but the two of them were unwilling to say anything. After the meal, everyone went back to their rooms to rest. Jiang Changkong checked his harvest. He hadn't checked the star stones that he had plundered from those people. Nan Tianpeng had the most star stones. He didn't let down his fat body. 500 middle grade level 4, 800 top grade level 4, and 1,000 high quality level 5. The rest didn't have any. Essence, Qi, and Spirit. 334000. The rest were much poorer than before. They didn't have any high quality level 5. They should have used them to buy spots. There were a total of 19 people, 9 geniuses, and 10 guardians. There were 7,619 middle grade level 5 in total. There were fewer high-quality level 5, only 120 more than Nan Tianwang. Most of them were 9 geniuses and 10 workers. Their star stones were pitifully few. Essence, Qi, and Spirit. 1,859,800. What a miscalculation. Only 2 million. He hoped that their weapons could be sold for a good price. However, it made sense. If he didn't level up, it would be more than 20 million. Forget it. I'll level up all my martial arts to the peak first. Jiang Changkong looked at his own data. In addition to the 600,000 from before, he had also extracted some essence, Qi, and Spirit from killing those star demon. Essence, Qi, and Spirit. 2800,311. Jiang Changkong's 5 martial arts, including the Cold Moon art, leveled up at the same time and reached the peak. The astral power in his body surged and the Stargate trembled. The Tai Chi diagram appeared and absorbed the power of yin and yang, forming the Tai Chi diagram. The tip of the sword floated on its own and absorbed the power of yin and yang. The yin and yang intertwined and enveloped Jiang Changkong's body, making him half golden and the other half silver. The two extreme powers complemented each other and coexisted peacefully. Only 1 million essence, Qi, and Spirit were left to level up his 5 martial arts. Jiang Changkong thought for a bit and focused all his energy on the indestructible diamond art. He had always believed in one thing. Survival was the most important. All his martial arts had reached the peak of the astral treasury. Even a normal astral spirit would have to kneel in front of him now. Once he sold the 2 drops of blood, the special star stones, weapons, and medicines, he should be able to reach the peak of the indestructible diamond art. It should be enough for the invincible Vajra divine art to be completely perfected, and there might even be leftovers. Chapter 139. Jiang Changkong, Peak of Hidden Star Mid-Tier Martial Art, Indestructible Diamond Divine Art, Perfection, 1-025-312/1875000 Taiji Mysterious Art. Perfection. 1/1875000 Graceful 3 Blades. Perfection. 1/1875000 Blazing Sun Art. Perfection. 1/1875000 Yuling Art. Perfection. 1/1875000 Cold Moon Art. Perfection. 1/1875000 Essence. Chi and Spirit. 0 Looking at the data, Jiang Changkong fell into deep thought. His medicine, weapons, 2 drops of blood, special starstones, and sunstones. Who should he sell them to? Looking at the whole of Jianghai, selling a few of them was not a problem. But to sell all of them, there was only one place. Alcade Trade Union. Alcade Trade Union had the right to take all the things in his hands. But would Nantian Pang not buy them? It did not seem right to plunder other people's things and sell them to him. Forget it. He would think about it after he woke up. At most, he would go to another province to sell them. Jiang Changkong lay down to rest. After being busy for the past few days, he was indeed tired. Ding dong. After sleeping for an unknown period of time, Jiang Changkong was woken up by the sound of his phone. It was an unknown number calling him. He looked at the time. It was 3 in the morning. Hello. Jiang Changkong picked up the phone. His tone was a little unpleasant. Calling so late at night was disturbing his sleep. Is this Jiang Changkong? I am Jiang Haibo. A voice came from the other end of the phone. Jiang Changkong's tone was a little unpleasant. Lord Jiang, it is very late. If you're not going to sleep, I will. Changkong, the situation is urgent. I hope you can come and help. Jiang Haibo said anxiously. There's going to be a big mess. What big mess? What does it have to do with me? Jiang Changkong frowned. The news of the Star Steel has been spread. The higher-ups have given a death order for us to guard the entrance. No one is allowed to enter without permission. Those who disobey will be killed. Jiang Haibo said in a deep voice. Jiang Changkong was a little speechless. Then why do you want to kill them? Why did you call me? We're your soldiers. Jiang Haibo said helplessly. How would I dare to kill them? They're all stepping on me, let alone killing them. Jiang Changkong, as the person in charge of the Twisted Starlight, aren't you doing too badly? Being pressed to the ground and beaten? Sorry, my strength is too low. Jiang Haibo hurriedly said. They specifically asked you to come here, saying that they want revenge, or else your friend will be in danger. Who? Jiang Changkong frowned. The relatives of those who participated in the Twisted Starlight Land are quite a few peak hidden star experts. Jiang Haibo hurriedly said, I know you're strong. Come here. We'll hold on until dawn and wait for the people from the Federation to arrive. Then we'll be fine. Are there any Star Soul Masters? Jiang Changkong asked. Nothing for the time being. Jiang Haibo's voice cut off after he finished speaking. Jiang Changkong was taken aback. Why did he take the initiative to hang up? While he was puzzled, a text message came. For early-stage Star Souls, don't leave the city. Jiang Haibo, Jiang Changkong was taken aback. What did that mean? After a moment's thought, Jiang Changkong stood up and opened the door. Changkong, Li Changtian and the others had just come out. Seeing him, they looked solemn. You're going to the Twisted Starlight Land. You know about it too? Jiang Changkong said. Yes, Jiang Haibo called. I have a friend at the scene. Jiang Haibo was forced to call. Li Changtian explained. He secretly sent a message telling us not to go. If we're found out, we'll probably be beaten up. This Jiang Haibo is a decent guy. Jiang Changkong nodded slightly. For Star Souls, can you be sure? Yes, all 4 early-stage Star Souls. People from the Federation will have to wait until dawn to come. Li Changtian continued. I've already received news that the major forces are working together to delay them. Early-stage Star Souls can't even shake the Star Steel. Aren't these people stupid? Jiang Changkong snorted. Now things have changed. They don't have to be experts. Technological equipment can be used. Li Changtian whispered. Jiang Changkong understood. The space was no longer twisted and the equipment could be used. These people could use the equipment to take things away. I'll go take a look. Jiang Changkong said and left quickly. Changkong, Li Chantian wanted to stop him, but he was a step too late. Jiang Changkong had already gone far away. Mystic Yang Step and Yuling Art were activated at the same time. Jiang Changkong was like a beam of golden light, quickly leaving the city. Early stage, Star Soul. With his strength, he should be able to suppress them. Even if he couldn't, he was confident that they wouldn't be able to do anything to him. Since they wanted to get back at him, he would give them the chance. Jiang Changkong dialed Jiang Haibo's number. The other side answered instantly, but it was a cold voice. Jiang Changkong, I'm coming. Then he hung up and hurried with all his might. Near the distorted starlight land, rows of soldiers were all lying on the ground, groaning in pain. Jiang Haibo, the person in charge, was bruised and swollen, with many wounds on his body. A group of people, ranging from young to middle-aged, stood outside the distorted entrance, staring coldly ahead. The entrance had been covered by a layer of golden light, preventing anyone from entering. A general in armor, holding a spear, stood in front of the entrance, looking coldly at everyone. Leave immediately, or we will kill you. You can't stop us. Remove the sixth order shield. A middle-aged man said coldly. It's my duty. The general said solemnly, not taking a step back, showing no fear. The middle-aged man's expression was cold. Without hesitation, he appeared in front of the general and slashed down. The general's pupils constricted as he blocked with his spear. Boom! The sword slashed down, and the general was sent flying. Blood dyed the night sky red. The shield is troublesome. After sending the general flying, the middle-aged man muttered. His sword light shone again, piercing through the night sky. I'll lend you a hand. A middle-aged woman walked out from the crowd, blue light flashing in her palm. In the blink of an eye, it rushed towards the golden shield like a flood. Boom! Kacha! The sword light and the flood fell at the same time, shattering the golden shield. Go collect the star steel I'll guard here. The middle-aged man said. Okay. The middle-aged woman nodded and entered the distorted land. Their goal this time was to get the star steel. As for how they would split it, that was a matter for later. Commander, are you okay? Jiang Haibo endured the pain and helped the injured general up. No. The general opened his mouth and vomited a mouthful of blood. His face was pale, star treasury and star spirit. The difference is huge. We tried our best. Jiang Haibo sighed, but Jiang Changkong seems to be here. Didn't we let him go? The general frowned. If something happens to him, how can I face my brother? Think of a way yourself. Jiang Hai Chuan should understand. Jiang Haibo sighed. This general was Jiang Hai Chuan's younger brother, the Gangshui Castle's commander, Jiang Shan. You two still have the mood to care about the life and death of others. Interesting. A young man came to their side with a cold gaze. Today, no one can save him. That's right. If Jiang Changkong dares to come today, he will die. The few young men said at the same time. Their hearts were heavy. How did Jiang Changkong provoke them? After coming out, they seemed to want to kill him no matter what. Angry roars resounded in the night sky. Suddenly, a golden light cut through the night. A figure stepped forward and said in a cold voice, Who wants to get back at him? Jiang Changkong, you really dare to come? Chapter 140. When the golden light dissipated, Jiang Changkong put his hands behind his back and stared coldly at the dozens of people present. His powerful astral power and golden flames lit up the dark night and dyed the surroundings golden. Jiang Changkong. A few people who had fought with him before couldn't help but take 2 steps back in fear. Nan Tian Wang stood in the crowd and said, It's none of my business. I'm just here to watch the show. I didn't do anything. Then he pulled Luo Yinshin and the 3 people next to him out of the crowd. An old man among the 3 people frowned and said, Young Master Nan, why are you so afraid of someone at the peak of the hidden star realm? Uncle Da, it's better to be cautious. Mengjia still wants to rope him in, Nan Tian Wang said in a low voice. Uncle Da was slightly startled, then a smile appeared on his face. So it's someone that the young mistress thinks highly of. Jiang Changkong, how dare you come here? Brother, it's him. Sister, it's him. He's the one who beat us up inside. It's him. He took the sunstone. A group of people shouted angrily. Dozens of people looked at Jiang Chong Kong. Jiang Chongkong's expression was indifferent. He ignored them and looked at Jiang Haibo. Anyone who trespasses will be killed. Do they count? What are you doing here? Jiang Haibo sighed. Answer my question. Jiang Chongkong frowned. Jiang Haibo had no choice but to say, some people have already gone in. These people count. What a joke. We have so many Hidden Star Realm cultivators, and many of them are at the peak of the Hidden Star Realm. You want to kill us all? The dozens of people laughed angrily at the same time. Cut the crap. Just chop him up and kill him without mercy? Let's see if we can. Who dares to kill us in Jianghai province? The faces of the youths were filled with arrogance. Kill. A young man at the peak of the Hidden Star Realm charged at Jiang Chongkong. Jiang Chongkong looked at the incoming person with indifference. His long saber spun out. It was warm like the sun had just risen. Pucci. A streak of light streaked past, and the young man who was charging over fell to the ground, his head flying into the air. There wasn't before, but there is now. Jiang Chongkong's expression was indifferent, without the slightest fluctuation. Kill him. Like a drop of water falling into a pot of boiling oil, dozens of people were instantly stirred up. Their astral powers surged, and they all rushed over. Jiang Chongkong stood with his hands clasped behind his back. 60% of his astral power was unleashed, and his long saber flew into the sky. The night sky was as red as blood. One saber, sunset. The setting sun was bleak, revealing a trace of twilight. It exuded boundless killing intent. Boom! Pucci! Ding! With a slash of the saber, stellar energy surged in all directions. The terrifying impact of the stellar energy caused the ground to crack, dust to fly everywhere, and gravel to turn into powder. Terrifying waves of chi, with the long saber as the center, spread in all directions. The weaker ones among the dozens of star bodhisattvas were sent flying, their blood flowing everywhere. Among the crowd, a surge of astral power rose. A beam of sword light shot into the night sky and clashed with the long saber. Star Spirit. Jiang Chongkong looked at the beam of sword light. It was a middle-aged man with a serious look on his face. The middle-aged man's face darkened. Jiang Chongkong, your strength has reached the limit of the early stage of astral power. Is that so? Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. The long saber was sent flying back, whimpering incessantly. It couldn't withstand his astral power. Step down. This is not a battle you can intervene in. The middle-aged man pointed his sword at the ground, his eyes filled with coldness. The dozens of star bodhisattvas didn't refute. They obediently stepped down. That slash just now had told them how big the gap between them was. Kill! The middle-aged man shouted. Suddenly, a beam of sword light flashed. Jin Feng tore apart the night sky and flashed past like a phantom. Jiang Chongkong looked at the long saber and sighed. Exhaust the last bit of its power. Clang! The long saber trembled and exploded into thousands of pieces, carrying with it the violent astral power, turning into a peerless blade aura. Watch out! The Star Soul martial artist guarding the entrance hurriedly shouted and quickly rushed over. Boom! Thousands of pieces, peerless blade, aura, and a terrifying explosion of astral power shook the surroundings. Young Master Nan, young Master Luo, watch out. Uncle Da's face darkened. He quickly stood in front of them to protect them. Rumble. Puffed. Blood stained the ground. The middle-aged astral spirit was sent flying like a broken sandbag. The astral spirit martial artist that rushed over only had time to catch him, but he felt the violent impact of the astral power. His expression changed, and he hurriedly used his astral power to resist. Puffed. A mouthful of blood gushed out. The two astral spirit martial artists flew out at the same time and fell heavily on the ground. Wherever the astral power passed, the star bodhisattvas couldn't withstand it. They all spat out blood and retreated in horror. After a long time, the astral power dissipated. The ground was filled with deep ravines that were more than 10 meters long. Jiang Chongkong walked forward with his hands behind his back, stepping on the cracked ground. For astral spirits. Where the other two? Everyone was silent. They couldn't hide the fear on their faces. Nan Tian Wang couldn't help but look at Uncle De. He was one of the 4 astral spirits. Uncle De's face twitched. He cupped his hands and said, "I'm the president of the Alcade Chamber of Commerce. I'm just here to take a look." Nan Tian Wang nodded. "Yes, we're just here to take a look." At the peak of Stargate, this guy could kill Lin Jie, who was in the middle stage of the Star Bodhisattva realm. Now, he was able to beat a group of Star Bodhisattvas and 2 astral spirits. Fatty Nin couldn't afford to offend him. Jiang Changkong glanced at them and no longer paid attention. Who else wants revenge? Everyone, revenge my ass. They couldn't beat him at all. 2 astral spirits joined forces and were severely injured by him. How could they fight? Cough, cough. The 2 astral spirits coughed violently and vomited blood. They wiped the blood off their faces and cupped their hands at the same time. "I didn't expect a master like you to be hidden in Shanghai. We've lost this time. We don't want the Star Steel anymore. Please don't make things difficult for us." "You don't want it? Can you take it away?" Jiang Changkong's expression was cold. "You come and go as you please? Do you think Shanghai is a charity?" Everyone's hearts sank. The 2 astral spirits' expressions changed. "What do you want?" Jiang Bo and Jiang Shan raised their eyebrows. "Changkong, don't tell me that you really want to kill all of them?" Jiang Changkong said lightly. "Give up the Star Steel and leave your Star Stones, weapons, and potions. You'll be fine." "Everyone, are you King crazy? You robbed us in the Twisted Land, and now you're doing it again?" Everyone was silent. Jiang Changkong's voice was cold. "If you don't want to, you can try. Is this guy crazy?" Uncle De was shocked. He offended so many forces at the same time. If they join forces, the Alcade Chamber of Commerce will be in trouble. If he didn't dare to do this, he wouldn't have done it in there. Nan Tianwang's eyes were sad. He had also been robbed in there. Fortunately, they couldn't rob him this time. He was really just a bystander. "I just got my weapon. I don't have any Star Stones." A young man named Xing Song handed over his weapon obediently, his calves shaking. Jiang Changkong checked his spatial equipment and confirmed that he didn't have any. He waved his hand and said, "Stand on the left. The rest of you, line up." The group of people lined up and obediently handed over their spatial equipment and their weapons. Jiang Changkong checked them one by one. After looting one, he asked him to stand on the left and moved on to the next one. Jiang Bo and Jiang Shan looked at this scene in a daze. Jiang Changkong robbed these guys. Aren't you geniuses from the big provinces? Shouldn't you fight him to the death? Chapter 141. The group of people obediently handed over the resources they had on them and stood to the left. Jiang Changkong waved his hand. "Lord Jiang, take your soldiers and keep an eye on them." Jiang Hai and Bo looked at each other and hurriedly gathered the injured soldiers to guard this group of people. Jiang Changkong plundered their resources. At first, he was happy, but later he frowned. After his verification, he was sure that this group of people was poor. There was not a single 6th-grade Star Stone. There were not many 5th-grade Star Stones. The one with the most was only about 200 pieces, and it was a medium-grade one. As for high-grade ones, there were only a dozen pieces. As for top-grade ones, there was not a single one. There were not many 4th-grade Star Stones either. He was not happy. The top-grade 4th-grade Star Stones only had 40 points of essence, chi, and spirit. The 2 Star Spirits were even more pitiful. They did not have a single Star Stone, only a few bottles of medicine and clothes. "Aren't you geniuses from the big provinces?" After collecting the last person's Star Stones, Jiang Changkong questioned. "How are you geniuses from the big provinces? You're totally poor, okay?" All of them added up were not as much as those who robbed in Tianping and the others. 5th-grade Superior Grade Star Stones, 322 pieces. 5th-grade Intermediate Grade Star Stones, 2,106 pieces. 5th-grade Inferior Grade Star Stones, 1,038 pieces. 5th-grade Superior Grade Star Stones, 849 pieces. 5th-grade Superior Grade Star Stones, 560 pieces. Total essence, chi, and spirit, 672,360 pieces. I came here in the middle of the night, and you only brought these few Star Stones? It is not even enough to max out the Vajra body art. Isn't this a waste of my rest time? Maybe it was because they felt humiliated after being plundered, or because they brought too few star stones. The faces of the so-called prodigies from the major provinces turned red, and they couldn't say a word. Jiang Changkong let out a long sigh. I feel ashamed for you. You only brought these few star stones when you go out. Aren't you ashamed to come from the big provinces? Everyone, Jiang Haibo, Jiang Shan, and the other soldiers were dumbfounded. Too few? Nan Tianwang's fat face twitched. Fortunately, he did not do it himself. This bastard only recognized star stones and not people. Look at Nan Tianpeng. My name is Nan Tianwang. Nan Tianwang said weakly. It's the same thing. Look at him. He carries over 1,000 star stones with him at all times. And then look at you guys. Jiang Changkong had an exasperated expression on his face. You're not strong enough, and you're not rich enough. Aren't you ashamed? Everyone, will you shut up? What does that have to do with you? Isn't it just too little? If you think it's too little, you can give it back to us. Jiang Haishan could not help but whisper, This guy, is he really from our Zhanghai province? You should ask your brother. Jiang Haibo rolled his eyes. He seriously suspected that Jiang Changkong might have come from a big province, but the investigation showed that he was from Rivertown. Moreover, his talent was terrifying. He had only been cultivating for a few months, yet he had already reached the pinnacle of the hidden star realm. He admired the ancestors of the Jiang family more and more. Since the world had not changed, they had been studying martial arts until today, when Jiang Changkong rose rapidly. He had even created a bloodline cultivation method. He must have a special cultivation method to have such terrifying combat power. The hope of the Jiang family was all pinned on him. He was the hope of their ancestors. Now, this guy even scolded these people from the big provinces like they were his own sons, and none of them dared to say a word. Nan Tianwang's expression was not right. If he continued, he would not be robbed, would he? Thinking of this, he panicked a little. Changkong, there are many people from the big forces. Some are the sons of shareholders, and some are the sons of concubines. After so many years, martial arts are popular, lifespans are extended, and there are many children, but many of them are not valued. Okay, Jiang Changkong sighed softly and said, Not many of them are valued. Nan Tianwang shook his head. An astral master can suppress a small province. If there are too many of them, they will be too strong, and they will not give face to the Federation. If a high-level martial artist came, where would the Federation put its face? This Federation was not the Federation of the big forces. Sometimes it was okay to give some benefits, but if they went too far and were unscrupulous, it would be a challenge to the Federation. Therefore, the big forces dragged the Federation to let this group of people who were not valued come. With their strength, it was easy to suppress Jiang Changhai. However, no one expected that Jiang Changkong would come here. What was more annoying was that Jiang Changkong was called over by them to get back at them. Fatty Tian, my name is Tian Wang. If you talk nonsense again, I will beat you up, as long as you are happy. Fatty Tian is Fatty Tian. Nan Tian Wang decisively changed his words. I can't beat this guy. If you have the ability, go to the big provinces. I will arrange for you to die. Where are the 6th grade star stones? Why can't I see them? Jiang Changkong asked. Strategic reserves, Nan Tian Wang explained. You guys reserve high-level ones. I won't say anything, but you still reserve 6th grade ones? Jiang Changkong said unhappily. Not just the 6th grade ones. The other grades are reserved, but they're easier to get. As for why we reserve 6th grade ones, it is reserved for those who are valued, such as my big brother. Nan Tian Wang curled his lips and said, When you go to the big provinces or join Mingjie Budokai, we will go together in the future. I will tell you. Where? Jiang Changkong asked. Wait until you join. Nan Tian Wang was tough. Don't try to threaten me. At most, I will really get beaten up by you. Forget it if you don't want to say. Jiang Changkong snorted. I don't want to know. Jiang Changkong said. Changkong, before you came, someone went in. Oh, then I will go to the entrance and wait for that person to come out. Jiang Changkong walked toward the entrance. It was fine if they went in, but the space was so big. What if they came out after he went in? If he missed it, they would really take away the star steel. The rest of the people were watched by the soldiers and didn't dare to move. Nan Tianwang and Luo Yinshun came to his side. They were still unwilling to give up. You really don't want to join? I don't want to, Jiang Changkong said calmly. Luo Yinshun smiled. What if you can take charge of a region in the future? I can do it myself. All right, stop talking nonsense. Jiang Changkong waved his hand. Take charge of a region? You probably don't know how I came to be the leader of Budokai. If I want, I am now a small commander of a big province. The two of them stopped talking. Jiang Changkong suddenly said, Fatty Tian, let's do a business. Nan Tianwang asked cautiously, what business? You don't want the Yang stones? How about I sell them to you? Jiang Changkong said with a smile. Nan Tianwang was surprised. You don't want them? These Yang stones are also very useful to you. I don't need them. I only want the star steel. Of course, if you want the Yang stones, you'll have to eat all these weapons and medicines. Jiang Changkong said. He didn't want to trouble two people for the same thing. Besides, no one could afford it except for Nan Tianwang. We will talk in detail after this, Nan Tianwang said hurriedly. It was not a problem to eat these things as long as he could get the Yang stones. Buzz. At this moment, there was a fluctuation at the entrance. The middle-aged woman stepped out. We have the star steel. Let's go. Sorry, you can't go anywhere. Jiang Changkong stood in front of her with an indifferent expression. Huh? Who are you? The middle-aged woman's face darkened. She looked at him seriously. Jiang Changkong said calmly, I'm the leader of Budokai of River Town, Jiang Changkong. The middle-aged woman's astral power was gathering, but she didn't do anything. Jiang Changkong, didn't she call him over to teach him a lesson? Why didn't anyone take him down? Why were they surrounded by the soldiers? They seemed to be afraid. Could it be that there was something wrong with Jiang Changkong? Chapter 142. The middle-aged woman had been around for many years. This abnormal situation made her feel uneasy, especially since she couldn't see through the person in front of her. She looked at Uncle Da, who shook his head. This is too abnormal. Oh, it's Chang Kai-sheng. The middle-aged woman smiled. I wonder if Chang Kai-sheng could do me a favor? I will definitely remember this favor. Leave the star steel and we can talk about it, Jiang Changkong said. The middle-aged woman's face darkened. Chang Kai-sheng, if it's convenient for you, you will be one of the leaders of the major provinces. Jiang Changkong said indifferently. Let's talk with our strength. Chang Kai-sheng, think carefully. The position of a leader of a major province is already very high, the middle-aged woman said in a low voice. I'll have to trouble you people from the big provinces to find out how I got my position as president. Jiang Changkong was a little impatient. He raised his hand, and the power of the sun lit up the night sky. The scorching sun formed a giant blade aura. The terrifying temperature rose, and the surroundings turned into day. The scorching sun blade slashed down. The middle-aged woman's expression changed. Her blue astral power turned into a torrent and met the blade aura head-on. Boom! The blade aura slashed down. The violent astral power surged and split the torrent. The saber radiance suppressed everything as the saber slashed down. Blood splattered, and the middle-aged woman was sent flying. The crowd looked at the scene with pity and didn't dare to make a sound. The middle-aged woman kept vomiting blood, and her body was full of cuts. Her body suddenly stopped. A hand strangled her neck, stopping her body from flying backward. She stopped in midair, just like that. The middle-aged woman's face turned pale. You've the star steel, Jiang Changkong said coldly. Here, on the bloodied arm, there was a golden ring that Zhang Xian passed over. Jiang Changkong took the ring and checked it. There were 2 glass containers containing 2 broken stone steels. Releasing the woman, Jiang Changkong took the ring and walked to Jiang Haibo's side. I'll leave this star steel to you. Although he could sell it for a good price, he knew that it was not something he could afford. It was enough for him to take the opportunity to earn some essence, qi, and spirit. Thank you. Jiang Haibo quickly put away the ring and said gratefully. Jiang Changkong looked at the time. It was past 4 in the morning. Sit down. We'll wait until dawn. By daybreak, the people from the Federation would be here. At that time, he would be able to retreat successfully. Please go over and squat down. A few soldiers came to the middle-aged woman's side with spears in their hands. Although they were polite, they could not conceal the excitement on their faces. When would they be able to let the star spirits find a place to squat? Star spirit, you can't even find one in Jianghai province. The old man of the Chu family, known as the overlord of Jianghai, was only at the pinnacle of the hidden star realm. However, there was more than one person at the peak of the hidden star realm here. It was just Star Spirit, but he had already squatted down 3. Thank you, Chiang Kai-sheng. I am the commander of Gangshui Castle, Jiangshan. I often hear Haichuan mention you. Jiang Haishan said with a smile. Oh, it's you, brother Haichuan. Jiang Changkong smiled and said, as the president of Budokai, it is my responsibility to cooperate with the Federation. Good job. The Federation is short of geniuses like you. Jiangshan patted him on the shoulder and said excitedly, Jianghai finally has a great genius. This time, I will definitely ask for credit for you. Then, thank you. Jiang Changkong smiled. It was a free contribution. Not bad, right? Jiang Haibo smiled and said, come, let's have a few drinks together. It will be over at dawn. He took out a table from his space equipment and took out some wine and food. Jiang Changkong smiled. This guy was living a good life. He brought food and wine with him. The 3 of them sat down and ate. Nan Tianwang and Luo Yunshen also squeezed in. Uncle De stood to the side and did not sit down. Changkong, let's talk about the Yang stones, Nan Tianwang said. Jiang Changkong ate a mouthful of food and said coldly, don't give me a low price this time. Otherwise, I will beat you to death the next time we meet. Nan Tianwang said helplessly, you can't even get a bargain in this business of yours. If it's star stones, there can't be too many. State your price, Jiang Changkong said indifferently. Nan Tianwang thought for a moment and said, 10,000 high-grade star stones and 2,000 top-grade star stones. Jiang Changkong frowned. Raise the price a little more. This is already the highest price. Commander Jiang knows. Nan Tianwang shook his head. Jiang Changhai nodded lightly. No problem. Jiang Changkong nodded in satisfaction. Then, how much do you want for the rest of the weapons and medicine? It depends on the grade of the medicine. Also, the price may be discounted. Nan Tianwang muttered. Seeing that Jiang Changhai was unhappy, he quickly explained, there is no business that doesn't make money. Moreover, I'm not the one buying them. It is Uncle De. Uncle De, who was standing to the side, nodded slightly. We can't buy them at the normal price. We also need to make money and transport them to other provinces. Jianghai province could not afford these things. Only the Nacre Light Chamber of Commerce could afford them. Jiang Changkong also knew that the other party would not sell everything according to the market price. They had to make a profit by buying things. Moreover, these things were not obtained through normal channels. They're all here. Give me a price. Jiang Changkong took out a jade pendant and handed it to Uncle De. He also kept some medicine and weapons for Yubalin and his 2 senior sisters. He had been in the school for so long, and they had sacrificed a lot for him. He should think of them. Your weapon seemed to be broken. Uncle De said indifferently. Do you want a level 6 weapon? Jiang Changkong hesitated. Of course, he wanted a level 6 weapon. However, he would lose a lot of star stones. After thinking for a while, he asked tentatively, can I give it to you? Uncle De, in your dreams. You want me to give you a level 6 weapon? Jiang Changhai and the others shook their heads. A level 6 weapon is not easy to get. It will also increase your strength greatly. You should change your weapon. Then change. Jiang Changkong clenched his teeth and said, if you want to change, then change to a good one. Don't come to me for a level 6 weapon. Uncle De nodded. Then you won't be able to exchange these things for many star stones. There are 2 drops of blood and special star stones. I will sell them to you as well. Jiang Changkong took out 2 drops of golden blood and special star stones and gave them to him. Uncle De accepted the items and said indifferently, when we go back, I will calculate the value and inform you. After discussing the business, all that was left was to eat, drink, and chat. As for the people from the big provinces, they stayed put and didn't dare to act recklessly. At 6 o'clock, Jiang Changkong stood up and left. The people from the Federation had already arrived at Gangshui Castle. There was nothing else for him to do. It was time to leave. My contribution will be converted into points for the martial arts tournament, or let my martial arts tournament level up. After saying this, Jiang Changkong slipped away. After a busy night, he needed to go back and get some sleep. Nan Tianwang and Luo Yinshin also ran away. Although they didn't do anything, they were responsible for coming here and getting caught by the Federation. As for the others, they didn't need to care. They wouldn't die anyway, but they would suffer a little. When he returned to the hotel, Li Chantian and the other three had already left. These four guys were not loyal to their friends. It was fine if they didn't go with him, but they ran away. Forget it. It was better to go back to school and sleep. The two senior sisters and the principal were still sleeping, so he didn't disturb them. After sleeping for a long time, Jiang Changkong was woken up by his phone. He picked up the phone and was a little dissatisfied. "Who is it?" "Jiang Xingshi." A gentle voice came over. "Jiang Changkong." "Who are you calling?" "Who are you calling Jiang Xingshi? Your whole family is called Xingshi." Chapter 143. Jiang Changkong was very depressed. It was one thing to be disturbed from sleep, but she still called him Jiang Xingshi. "Yao Meng." Jiang Changkong's face darkened. "What do you want?" Yao Meng said softly. "Have you thought about it? You have offended a lot of people this time. If you join my Budokai, you can offend even more people." "I refuse," Jiang Changkong said calmly. The president of Budokai understood that he had just made a great contribution and dared to attack him. He could totally kill him. As for high-level martial artists, it was fine. At most, he could change to a different avatar and go out with a cloak. Yao Meng still did not give up. "Why? I can provide you with a wider platform. Star stones can also be discussed." Jiang Changkong said calmly, "I don't like to work under others. As long as you agree, you can work in any industry you want, including a provincial commander. I guarantee that you will be promoted again within a year." Yao Meng continued. "Junior commander, ahem, don't you guys do any preparatory work? My position as the president was exchanged for the position of a junior commander." This was something he had not checked before. The junior commander position, exchanging it with the president of Budokai? Is there something wrong with you? "If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. I'm very busy," Jiang Changkong said. "All right, read the news yourself, Jiang Xingshi." Yao Meng snorted in dissatisfaction and said, "Don't worry. The major forces will not easily find trouble with you. The Federation has to be respected." Jiang Changkong curled his lips. Were they just scaring him just now? News. After hanging up, Jiang Changkong turned on the internet and looked at the news. The most popular one was, "The Star Steel has appeared. Jiang Xingshi has single-handedly recovered the Federation's losses." Damn, my name is Jiang Changkong. Why did you register me as Jiang Xingshi in the news? This must be Yao Meng's doing. It was too infuriating. He was a little unhappy, but he didn't have the ability to change the Federation. He dialed Jianghai Mountain's number and was quickly picked up. "Changkong, is my reward here yet?" Jiang Changkong asked. "Go to Budokai's official website and you'll know," Jianghai said. Jiang Changkong hung up and opened Budokai's official website. Big Budokai. You can recruit 100 people. Every year, you have to hand over 50,000 star stones at the peak of the 3rd level and above. Because of your contributions, you will be exempted for 3 years. Available quests: normal, small, large. Points 100,000. His points were immediately replenished to 100,000. That's enough to exchange for 10 bottles of medicine. He could also enter the exchange section. He clicked into the communication area and saw many posts. "I've just accepted a large-scale mission to hunt a Stargate, level star demon group. Is there anyone for Budokai? We'll split the points equally. Is there anyone who has accepted the Abyss mission? Underground Abyss, begging for help, ending province. Looking up to the geniuses from the normal province, small province Budokai, begging for help to complete quests." There were all kinds of posts. Jiang Changkong read a few posts and clicked to return. He checked the quests. There were quests from all 36 provinces of the Empire, and many of them were large-scale quests. There were also news about medium-sized mines, but they were all in other provinces, and they were all large ones. There were no large-scale mines. Normally, when such mines appeared, they would be instantly killed. Jiang Changkong thought for a while and took out 50,000 points and distributed them to Budokai members. 10,000 points each. Little Changkong, you're rich. You're giving 10,000 points at once? A female senior appeared in the ScienceNet group. Then, senior Ing Yinxue also appeared. So many points. I'm so excited. Can I exchange them for food? Jiang Changkong. Senior, can you eat less? Thank you, President. Yang Qinggan and Peng Yin jumped out. Tang Ruashi. President, thank you. I happen to be in need of points to exchange for research knowledge. I made a small fortune. Senior, come and get some potions and weapons later, Jiang Changkong said. Tang Ruashi, I envy you. Yang Qinggan and Peng Yun, +1. Who asked you not to be here? You two come too. You're good. Jiang Changkong smiled and said, How's the Anding province? Tang Ruashi said, It's going well. By the way, I heard that you're going to build a city. Are you looking for a mine? Jiang Changkong hurriedly asked, Yes, I'm looking. Senior, do you have any news? There's some news, but I'm not sure if it's a medium-sized mine. Wait for my news, Tang Ruashi said. Thank you. When I'm done with the Gangshui castle and confirm that it's a medium-sized mine, I'll come over. Jiang Changkong thought for a while. He didn't want to go to a big province for the time being. He had just offended a bunch of guys from a big province. Wouldn't it be asking for trouble if he went to them immediately? Even if he had the Federation to protect him, those guys wouldn't be able to swallow their anger. If it was really a medium-sized mine, he could build a city and sell the land. Soon, the two senior sisters came. Jiang Changkong took out 2 space jade pendants. One is empty, and the other has something. You can share it. Then, he went to the principal and gave him a jade pendant. It was not big and weighed 10 cubic meters. There were not many things in it, but they were all suitable for him. If he used them well, it was not impossible for him to build a Stargate. He also prepared 2 space equipment with potions and weapons for Yang Qinggan and Peng Yin. These things were all 4th grade and low-grade 5th grade. If they were too advanced, they wouldn't be able to use them, and it would be troublesome to carry them. Besides, he had to sell the Starstones. These things couldn't buy many, so he just gave them to them. After distributing the things, it was still early. It was only 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Jiang Changkong was dragged out by the 2 senior sisters to play. Tell us, what happened in the distorted Starlight Land? Where did you get so many good things? The 2 senior sisters took him out of the school and went to the Alcade Chamber of Commerce. The best entertainment place in Gangshui Castle was the Alcade Chamber of Commerce. Didn't you see the news? Jiang Changkong asked. The 2 senior sisters narrowed their eyes. Yes, I did. Don't tell us that you have another name, Jiang Xingshi. Of course not. I waited until they were all seriously injured and then robbed them. Jiang Changkong explained. The 2 senior sisters were stunned. They were all seriously injured, and you took advantage of them? Well done. Because I took advantage of them, the Federation upgraded my Budokai to 100,000 points. Jiang Changkong smiled. In the future, we will be a large Budokai. Then we can have 100 members? Ji Xiling said in surprise. Then she said, Can you bring my brother in? Of course, no problem. But what's going on between you and your brother? Jiang Changkong asked. Nothing. I just can't stand his groveling. This time, I invited him to join us to give him a chance to change. Ji Xiling said with some dissatisfaction. Then let's go to him. Jiang Changkong didn't ask anymore. If she didn't want to say more, then he wouldn't say it. Ji Xiling contacted Ji Zifeng, who was at the Alcade Chamber of Commerce. The 3 of them hurried there. When they arrived at the entrance of the Alcade Chamber of Commerce, Ji Zifeng was waiting at the door, and there were 2 people beside him. Xiling, Yinxue, Changkong. Ji Zifeng walked over with the 2 people. Humph! Ji Xiling snorted and looked at the 2 people beside him unhappily. Ji Zifeng said with a bitter smile, These 2 are really my good friends. Although they are from Budokai, they are not Shuyuna's people. I don't want to talk to you. Ji Xiling snorted and said, Now Changkong's Budokai has been upgraded to a large Budokai. Are you willing to join? Large? Ji Zifeng was surprised, but he didn't agree immediately. Instead, he fell into silence. Chapter 144. What? I'm giving you a chance now. Don't waste it. Ji Ziling's face was cold. She didn't want to be nice to her brother at all. Ji Zifeng was still hesitating and looked at Jiang Changkong awkwardly. Ji Ziling was already angry. It's fine if you don't cherish it. Even if you beg me in the future, I won't let Changkong agree to let you join. Senior sister, why are you angry? Let's go in and have a cup of tea and talk. Jiang Changkong said. Ji Zifeng quickly said, Yes, drink tea. Let's drink tea first. Let's talk while drinking tea. It's my treat. Yes, the three of you. Let's have a cup of tea together. The two people next to Ji Zifeng also quickly said and pulled them into the Chamber of Commerce. They entered the tea house of the Arcade Chamber of Commerce. The waiter knew Jiang Changkong and took them to a private room. They entered the private room and served Arcade tea. Is there any problem? Jiang Changkong sipped the tea and said lightly. No. Ji Zifeng quickly shook his head. You're as timid as a mouse. You're afraid that the Chu family will take revenge on you if you quit. Ji Ziling sneered. Peng Yun and Yang Qinggan aren't afraid. What are you afraid of? Ji Zifeng said helplessly. I have to think about my family. My family's business depends on the Chu family. You work hard for the Chu family every year. What do you get? Why don't you change your surname? Ji Ziling said angrily. Jiang Changkong rubbed his eyebrows. Senior sister, don't be angry. You can't blame Brother Zifeng because of the situation. Ji Zifeng sighed. Now, in Gangshui Castle, except for the Arcade Chamber of Commerce, anyone who wants to do business has to rely on the Chu family. Peng Yun and Yang Qinggan are fine now, but the rest of Jiangqing are. Those who are still in the association are suffering. Jiang Changkong frowned. What? The two men beside Ji Zifeng shook their heads and said, What's the use of reporting it? The Chu family's influence covers the entire Jianghai. Budokai is backed by the Chu family. As long as the Chu family doesn't fall, no one will dare to report them. Jiang Changkong pondered and said, As you said earlier, those people in River Town aren't having a good time? Yes, because you snatched the quota. Those people from River Town are getting beaten up for no reason. Ji Zifeng replied, especially Chu Tianyan. His heart is twisted, and he goes crazy whenever he sees people from River Town. A coward who bullies the weak and fears the strong. Jiang Changkong said disdainfully, Don't be careless. Jin Feng is dead, Ji Zifeng said solemnly. Jiang Changkong said carelessly, So what if he's dead? Was he killed by the Chu family? I'm just guessing. I don't have any evidence. In addition to Jin Feng, some people from the Lin family, where Lin Jie is, are also coming to Gangshui Castle. Ji Zifeng looked solemn. Everyone could guess that Jin Feng was probably killed by the Chu family. The Chu family was closely watched by Jianghai, so they didn't dare to act rashly. At this time, it was the best choice to use other forces to get rid of Jiang Changkong. However, this was all speculation, and there was no evidence. The two men who had been silent said, According to the news I've heard, the Lin family has a star spirit master. They won't send star spirits this time, but you have to be careful in the future. Well, I'm going to Anding province soon. Before I leave, I'll deal with the Chu family. Jiang Changkong pondered for a moment and said, You stay in Budokai and help me pay attention. Contact me and create a chance for them to act. Are you going to take the initiative to fight? Ji Zifeng and the other two were stunned. Ji Ziling and Ing Yinxue frowned and said worriedly, Changkong, don't do anything stupid. Don't worry. This time, Jianghai Mountain will also benefit from it. I'll invite him. Jiang Changkong said calmly. As long as they take action, Jianghai Mountain, the little commander will have a reason to attack the Chu family. I see. Then I'll definitely cooperate with you. Ji Zifeng said, in surprise. Ding dong. As soon as he finished speaking, his phone rang. Ji Zifeng picked up the phone and made a gesture to keep quiet. It's Chu Yunhe. Put on speaker. Jiang Changkong said calmly. Ji Zifeng nodded and answer the call. Ji Zifeng, where are you? I'm having tea at the Arcade Chamber of Commerce with Qian Yun and the others. Ji Zifeng said. No one else. Is it convenient to talk? Ji Zifeng looked at Jiang Changkong and the other two strangely and replied in a low voice, yes. Jiang Changkong has come out of the Twisted Land. I'll let you know in a while. Think of a way to lure him out of the city. Ji Zifeng said awkwardly, this is a little difficult. I'm not familiar with Jiang Changkong. Your sister, Ji Xiling, is familiar with him. Think of a way yourself. Don't blame me for not reminding you. If you don't do it well, your sister will be in danger. Chu Yuna said coldly and hung up. Jiang Changkong, the two senior sisters, did he go crazy from a stimulation? Did he just say it like that? Ji Zifeng's face twitched. Ever since Chu Tianyun was crippled and his quota was snatched, the two brothers have gone crazy. What should we do now? You guys set a time. I don't mind. Jiang Changkong shrugged. If someone was courting death, he didn't mind sending the Chu family on their way. The sooner he settled this matter, the sooner he could go to the Anding province to check on the Urvain. As for the Arcade Chamber of Commerce, he wondered if they had calculated the value of the Urvain. There was also his saber. Nan Tianpeng hadn't gotten the star stone with which he had bought the yang stones. They discussed for a while and left. The two senior sisters went to play games. Under the guidance of the waiter, Jiang Changkong went to look for Uncle De. At the same time, he invited Jiang Haishan out for a meal to discuss. De Shu and Nan Tianwang were in the middle of a discussion when Jiang Changkong arrived. They waved at him and asked him to sit down. Changkong, I've calculated it. 8,000 low-grade 5th-grade stones and 1,000 mid-grade 5th-grade stones. De Shu said, isn't this a little too little? Jiang Changkong frowned. It's quite a lot. I'm sure you know about that special star stone of yours. De Shu said lightly. The rest of the items are just so-so. Plus, we'll prepare a top-grade 6th-grade weapon for you. Jiang Changkong thought for a while and said, all right, how long will it take? De Shu said, the amount is too large. I'll need 2 days to prepare. I'll give them to you along with the star stone with the yang stones. Jiang Changkong thought for a while and said, sure. Right, can I exchange the top-grade ones for low-grade ones? Should I exchange more? No, De Shu said lightly. I don't have that many in reserve. I can exchange them for 3rd-grade ones. Do you want to exchange? I won't. Jiang Changkong curled his lips. 3rd-grade ones were all spiritless. His brain must have been kissed by a donkey to exchange. After the discussion, Jiang Changkong stood up and left. Then Tianwang frowned. De Shu, do you think Jiang Changkong is also stockpiling star stones? It's possible. Li Changtian and Ji Qingming might have told him about it. De Shu said in a low voice, but it doesn't matter. Although he's at the peak of the hidden star realm, as long as he doesn't enter the advanced realm, no matter how many star stones he has, it's useless. The Federation won't invite him. Nan Tianwang nodded and said no more. Jiang Changkong invited Jiang Hai to the mountain for a meal. He also wanted to let senior sister Yinxue have a good meal. After he was done with the matters here, he would leave. At dinner time, Peng Yun and Yang Qinggan also arrived. Tang Ruoxi was the only one who hadn't arrived in Budokai. Commander Jiang, I've invited you here to discuss the matter of the Chu family. Jiang Changkong offered a toast and told the Shu about the matter. Jiang Hai frowned slightly. I'm confident in your strength. However, it's a bit far-fetched to implicate the Chu family with this reason alone. The Chu family could completely deny that it was Chu Yuna's idea. Do we need a reason to exterminate the Chu family? Jiang Changkong said lightly, they're already dead. Aren't you the one who reported it? Jiang Hai was slightly startled. He smiled and said, I'm the one who's confused. Come, let's drink. Jiang Changkong smiled and drank to his heart's content. Chapter 145. In 2 days, Jiang Changkong had gotten the star stones and weapons. The 6th-rank saber looked the same as the one before. It was tailor-made for him. Essence, Qi, and Spirit. 527-2360. 5 million essence, Qi, and Spirit. Jiang Changkong thought. The remaining essence, Qi, and Spirit were enough for 2 martial arts to be perfected. Then, he would use it on the Yuling chant and the Tai Chi mysterious art. With the decision made, Jiang Chongkong began to level up. The invincible Vajra divine art was perfected. His body was like a diamond, shining brightly. The Tai Chi mysterious art was perfected. The black and white Tai Chi diagram appeared automatically. The sun and the moon appeared at the same time and merged into the Tai Chi diagram. Star power surged, and a terrifying aura was emitted from Jiang Chongkong's body. He was surrounded by boundless starlight. Tai Chi mysterious art, invincible Vajra, and Yuling chant. The only pity was that he couldn't fly on his sword yet. Jiang Chongkong, peak of hidden star middle rank martial arts, invincible Vajra divine art, perfected. 1875000/1875000 Tai Chi mysterious art, perfected. 1875000/1875000 3 strikes of grace, perfected. 1/1875000 blazing sun art, perfected. 1/1875000 Yuling chant, perfected. 1875000/1875000 cold moon art, perfected. 1/1875000 essence, chi, and spirit. 6726722 hours later, all the starlight was restrained and the Tai Chi mysterious art was activated. Do you want to get a sword? Jiang Chongkong looked at the broken sword tip and the hidden star ring. His other identity had no attributes. He only had the 3 strikes of grace. The cold moon art was compatible with the sword tip. He could make a suitable weapon with the sword tip. The cold moon art was perfect for both swords and sabers. He could make a sword and a saber. Thinking of this, Jiang Chongkong contacted Tang Ruashi. Can you make a 6th rank weapon now? After a few minutes, Tang Ruashi replied, I was busy just now. As long as there are materials, I can make one as long as they are not high level. I can borrow all the special equipment for research. All right, I'll come over in a while. I might have to trouble you, Jiang Chongkong said. There's no need to be so polite between us. I'll treat you to a meal when you arrive at the ending province. After saying that, Tang Ruashi ran off to work. Jiang Chongkong stopped bothering him and began to wonder why the Chu family hadn't made a move yet. He had already waited for 2 days. Could it be that he still needed to take the initiative? Fine, I'll take the initiative then. Jiang Chongkong pondered. Now that there was news of a mine, regardless of whether it was a medium-sized mine or not, he had to make a trip there. If he was late, he might not get share. Now that the star stones and weapons were in his hands, there was no reason for him to stay in the Gangshui castle. Thinking of this, Jiang Chongkong called Ji Zifeng. Where are Chu Yunhe and the others? They are all in the Chu family. The Jin family and the Lin family of the Anding province have sent people here. They are still receiving them, Ji Zifeng replied. Well, I'll go to the Chu family tonight. As for the rest, it's up to you. After saying that, Jiang Chongkong hung up. Then he called Jiang Haishan, the junior commander. Jiang Chongkong quietly waited for the night to come. He didn't inform the 2 senior sisters. He just said that he had something to do. It was not until 8 o'clock that Jiang Chongkong left the Gangshui Castle Martial Arts School. The Chu family had a large house, which was known as the most luxurious house in the Gangshui Castle. It was located in the west of the Gangshui Castle. Almost all the houses and residential areas nearby had some connections with the Chu family. Some were rented out by the Chu family, and some were sold. Over the years, under the various means of the Chu family, almost all the forces that could compete with the Chu family had declined. Except for the Yawang Chamber of Commerce, the Martial Arts School, the Qixiang School, and the Law Enforcement Bureau, all the other forces were inferior to the Chu family. Therefore, if the Chu family collapsed, there would be countless people who would push the wall down. Under the night sky, Jiang Chongkong came to the gate of the Chu family alone. At the gate of the mansion, 4 middle-aged men guarded the door and stared at him coldly. Who are you? Guarding the gate of the Star Ocean, the Chu family is indeed the overlord of the river. Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. The 4 middle-aged men were all martial arts practitioners in the Star Ocean. Since you know that this is the Chu family, why don't you get lost? The 4 of them said, disdainfully with cold faces. Jiang Chongkong didn't say anything and walked into the gate. A flash of knife light flashed. Without any sound or movement, the four of them stopped and their throats were torn, blood flowing out. Plop! The bodies fell to the ground. Jiang Chongkong didn't even look at them and stepped into the gate of the Chu family. Who are you? How dare you break into the Chu family? As soon as he stepped into the gate, two middle-aged men rushed over. Out of the corner of their eyes, they caught a glimpse of the four bodies lying in a pool of blood. Their pupils constricted. Murder? Jiang Chongkong didn't say anything. He waved his hand, and the gate closed automatically with his astral power. What do you want? How dare you come to the Chu family and kill people in the city? It's a force that doesn't exist. Who will say anything? Jiang Chongkong looked calm. The knife light flashed, tearing the night apart and swallowing the two men. Stepping over the two bodies, another two men came. Seeing this scene, their legs trembled in fear. Killing people in the city or breaking into the Chu family to kill people. They had been in the Chu family for a long time, but this was the first time they had encountered such a thing. Call for help, Jiang Chongkong said casually. It was too troublesome to find them one by one. It was more convenient to get them together and kill them directly. Someone broke into the Chu clan and killed someone. One of them held his phone and said with a trembling voice, "Brother, don't be impulsive. Everything can be discussed." The other man quickly comforted Jiang Chongkong. They were only martial artists from Star Ocean. The two who had just died were also from Star Ocean. Facing Jiang Chongkong, they didn't dare to attack him even if they didn't know his identity. Who has the gall to come to the Chu clan and kill people? Since when did someone court death appear? Angry shouts could be heard as one martial artist after another rushed over. It's him. Kill him. With the arrival of reinforcements, the tone of the two men changed. They pointed at Jiang Chongkong and shouted, "Kill him. Take him down and you'll be rewarded," a young man said coldly. "Don't worry, young master. This man will die." A group of people grinned and rushed to Jiang Chongkong. Their astral power intertwined and illuminated the sky above the Chu family. "And he's a young master?" Jiang Chongkong was slightly surprised, but it turned into killing intent in the blink of an eye. There were less than 20 people rushing over. The strongest was only at the early stage of Stargate, while the young master was only at the late stage of Star Ocean. The gap was too big to pique his interest. "Kill yourselves," Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. He didn't even use the Taiji painting. The invisible astral power of the Yuling art spread out. He forcefully twisted their weapons and slashed their throats. Thump! Thump! Corpses fell one after another. In the blink of an eye, only the young master was left standing. How? How is this possible? What kind of martial arts is this? The young master looked at this scene in horror. A sentence of suicide? Mass suicide? Was this something that could be done with martial arts? Chu Yunhe, where are the rest of the Chu family? Jiang Chongkong looked at him indifferently. My father is the second son of the Chu family. He's in the mid-stage of Star Realm. Don't kill me. The young master trembled in fear. The smell of urine wafted over. Jiang Chongkong frowned and looked disgusted. I'll ask again. Where's Chu Yunhe? Over there. The young master trembled and quickly pointed in a direction. Take me there, Jiang Chongkong said indifferently. Yes. The young master didn't dare to resist. He quickly turned around and led the way. Jiang Chongkong followed him unhurriedly. He said indifferently, "Are they receiving the people from the Jin family and the Lin family?" The young master looked frightened. He quickly replied, "Yes, no. They've finished receiving them. They're discussing how to kill someone called Jiang Chongkong." Jiang Chongkong. Should I say that you're indecisive? I've already killed my way to your house, and you still haven't discussed it? Chapter 146. I have contacted Ji Zifeng. He can lure Jiang Chongkong out. Are you sure Ji Zifeng will listen to you? Don't worry if Ji Zifeng doesn't do it. I have countless ways to make his Ji family unable to establish a foothold in Gangshui Castle. Now, what we have to think about is how to kill Jiang Kong. According to what you said, Jiang Chongkong's combat strength is at most in the middle stage of the Hidden Star Realm, but Jiang Haishan is a little troublesome. At that time, my father will invite Jiang Haishan to drink tea and lure him away. You only need to kill Jiang Changkong for revenge. As soon as he got close to the room, Jiang Changkong heard the conversation. The young master didn't hear it. The room's soundproofing was good, and he didn't have Jiang Changkong's terrifying five senses. It's here. The young master's legs were trembling, and his body couldn't stop shaking. Jiang Changkong smiled and said, "Thank you." "No, you're welcome." Plop. The body fell, and Jiang Changkong pushed the door open. There were 5 people in the room: Chu Yunhe, 2 young men, and 2 middle-aged men. The young men were in the middle stage of the Hidden Star Realm, and the 2 middle-aged men were in the late stage of the Hidden Star Realm. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock, we will ask Jiang Changkong to come out, kill him, and destroy the body. Squeak. The sound of the door opened made the conversation come to an abrupt end. Who? Jiang Changkong. Chu Yunhe was about to get angry, but when he saw who it was, his face changed greatly. Jiang Changkong? How did he appear here? He is Jiang Changkong? The other 4 people's faces sank at the same time. This guy came in front of them? It's all nonsense. I am here if you want to kill me, come. Jiang Changkong said coldly. The 4 people looked at each other and didn't rush to make a move. If Jiang Changkong dared to come here, could it be that Jiang Haishan was also here? Chu Yunhe looked at the corpse outside the door, and his face turned cold. Cousin, kill him. How cautious. Jiang Changkong sighed softly. An invisible wave of star power surged, and the 5 of them flew towards Jiang Changkong at the same time. What happened? The 5 of them screamed in horror. They couldn't control their bodies. Their bodies stiffened, and they found it hard to move. An invisible force was controlling them. Rumble. With a thought, Jiang Changkong released a surge of astral power from his body, and the room collapsed instantly. The door shattered, and the room collapsed. Broken walls and rubble flew everywhere. Towering flames soared into the sky, and the sky above the Chu family was as bright as day. The power of the blazing sun star surged out and formed a sun in the sky. The terrifyingly high temperature enveloped the entire Chu family, and some flammable items were immediately set ablaze. The fires startled the entire Chu family. What's going on? Why is there a sun here? That's where young Master Chu Yunhe is. Hurry up. Amidst the terrifying 5 senses, voices came one after another. Some were panic-stricken, while others were incomparably furious. Puffed. Blood gushed out. Chu Yunhe and the other 4 stiffened and kept vomiting blood. Are you in contact with the eldest son of the Chu family? Which province is he in? Jiang Changkong asked indifferently. Chu Yunhe felt that the force that was restraining him had weakened a bit, and he could barely move. After vomiting another mouthful of blood, his expression turned malevolent and terrifying. Jiang Changkong, how dare you barge into my Chu clan to commit murder in the city? Not even Jiang Haishan can protect you. Do you think the Chu family can survive tonight? Jiang Changkong said indifferently. I don't want to listen to your nonsense. Answer my question or die. Jiang Changkong said coldly. I think you've lost your mind. You don't understand human language. Jiang Changkong raised his hand and put on Chu Yunhe's head. He spat out his astral powers and stopped breathing. The 4 people next to him looked at this scene in fear. They kept twitching, trying to escape, but the invisible restraint was too strong. Even if they pushed their astral powers to the extreme, they couldn't break the restraint. Yun, a man with half a head of white hair, shouted hoarsely, his eyes almost popping out of their sockets. Kill him, and avenge Yunhe. The members of the Chu family arrived and saw this scene. They roared and unleashed their astral powers. The Chu family. Jiang Changkong sighed calmly. You're not worth it. Boom. The blazing sun hanging high in the sky trembled and suddenly exploded, turning into streaks of fiery light. It was as if heavenly flames were descending into the world, destroying heaven and earth. Rumble. The fire was even more terrifying than the military fire. The violent astral powers and endless heat waves enveloped the entire Chu family. The earth cracked and the ground was scorched. Half of the people who rushed over were killed or injured in an instant. Kill him, several middle-aged men shouted and used their astral powers to resist the fire. Boom! However, they couldn't even resist the fire. The fire swallowed everything and turned them into men on fire in the blink of an eye. Ah! Miserable cries resounded in the Chu family and even spread out. Jianghai looked grim. Behind him, there was a small team of bodyguards and a dozen martial artists. The people in the vicinity had already been driven away by Jiang Haibo and his men. The vicinity of the Chu clan had also been completely sealed off. The martial artists were not from the army, but the residents of the Gangshui castle. They had their own forces in the Gangshui castle and were usually bullied by the Chu family. Ji Zifeng looked grim and anxious. He didn't know Jiang Changkong's specific strength, so he was worried about the situation inside. The group of people behind him had been recruited by him, and they were on good terms with him. As for the others, when they heard that they were going to deal with the Chu family, they had already gone far away and hung up the phone. Just wait and see. Changkong is very powerful, Jiang Hai said in a low voice. He wasn't worried about Jiang Changkong's safety, but he was worried about how to deal with the aftermath. Yes, Ji Zifeng responded seriously. Jiang Hai was silent for a moment. Clean up the mess later and don't get other people involved. Divide the cake and don't make any trouble. Commander, you're too optimistic. We still don't know what's going on inside. Ji Zifeng smiled bitterly. It's not over yet, and you're already telling me not to leave any traces? How are we going to divide the cake? Boom! Suddenly, an earth-shattering explosion was heard. The astral power shot up into the sky and formed a beam of astral power, which collided with the sun. Rumble! The two astral powers collided, and the terrifying energy intertwined. The raging aftermath made the houses around collapse. Who said the Chu family is worthless? The old and cold voice sounded, which made Ji Zifeng and the others look gloomy. The old man of the Chu family? Don't worry, Jiang Hai said calmly. Jiang Changkong was an existence that could beat the star spirits of the major provinces into obediently squatting down. Even if the old man of the Chu family had become an astral spirit, he wouldn't be able to change anything. In the Zhai courtyard of the Chu family, the fire of the sun was blocked, and the beam of astral power also dissipated in the night sky. Jiang Changkong didn't care. It was just a sun he had created, and it was nothing. A hunchbacked old man in a black outfit walked out of the darkness with his hands behind his back. Starlight glittered on his body. Although he was hunchbacked, he carried a majestic aura. The astral power danced around him as if it had a mind of its own. Jiang Changkong was a bit surprised, but he immediately calmed down. The old man of the Chu family? Astral spirit, but he's still worthless. How arrogant. Go to hell. The blade aura was as blue as the sea. The astral power gathered and formed a giant blade aura. The blade aura was like an ocean. The astral power was condensed, but let out the sound of rolling waves. The sun, Jiang Changkong said indifferently. The astral power of the sun surged out of his body and turned into a giant sun again, which met the blade aura head-on. Buzz! Wherever the sun passed, there was no terrifying explosion. The blade aura began to disperse silently. It turned into white smoke and disappeared in the void as if it had evaporated. Under the hunchbacked old man's frightened eyes, the sun swallowed him. There was no scream, no other movement. He just turned into ashes. Chapter 147. The burnt bodies of the Chu family were piled up in the courtyard. The ground was scorched black, and the houses had collapsed. It was a scene of devastation. Jiang Changkong withdrew the Yuling chant, and the four people behind him were immediately released. Plop! The four-star treasure realm experts knelt down, their faces full of horror. Spare us, spare us. The elder of the Chu family, an astral spirit, had been killed in one move. It was a huge blow to them. Even the Tranquil province, astral spirit experts were among the top. What happened to the mid-stage of the Star Treasure Realm? It turned out that an expert who had just broken through to the astral spirit level could instantly kill him. Did they send the Star Treasure Realm experts here to die? The four of them felt that they had been tricked by the Chu family. Where is the eldest brother of the Chu family? Jiang Chongkong asked lightly. Yes, in the Tranquil province. Don't worry, sir. We will definitely catch him for you, the four said in fear. I don't like to trouble people to death. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand. The blade light flashed, blood splashed, and the four bodies fell into a pool of blood. He would go to the Tranquil province in person. The four of them said so, but when they returned to the Tranquil province, they would probably put on a different face. Revenge for Lin Jie? Lin Jie had died in a duel. In that case, he didn't need to hold back. As for the Jin family, it didn't matter how Jin Feng died. Coming here to kill him was destined to be a dead end. After taking their space equipment, Jiang Chongkong got up and left. The rest was Jiang Haishan's matter. When he opened the door of the Chu family, Jiang Haishan and the others were still standing outside. Chongkong. They hurried to greet him. It's been taken care of. I'll leave the rest to you. If you have 5th grade star stones, leave some for me. After saying that, Jiang Chongkong turned around and left. Don't worry. Jiang Haishan nodded and said, search for any evidence of the Chu family's crimes. We're leaving too. Ji Zifeng cupped his hands and left with his men. The Chu family was gone, so they could swallow the Chu family's property. As for how much he could swallow, that would depend on his own strength. Jiang Chongkong returned to his room at school alone, took a shower, and rested. There were many sleepless nights in Gangshui Castle, but he was not one of them. Jiang Chongkong slept until noon the next day before he woke up. When he opened the door, he realized that no one was there. His 2 seniors, Yang Qinggan, and even the principal were not in the room. By the time he got his food from the cafeteria downstairs, the other 4 schools had already returned to their cities. As he ate, he looked out of the window. The students of Gangshui Castle walked past, occasionally glancing at him with respect. Ding dong. His phone rang. It was Jiang Shan. Commander Jiang. Jiang Chongkong was very polite. Chongkong, there aren't many 5th grade star stones left. I can only give you 100 mid-grade ones. As for the remaining low-grade ones, I have to keep them for my mission. Jiang Haishan said. Doesn't the Chu family have a top-grade 5th grade star stone? Jiang Chongkong asked. No, the Chu family's star stones of top-grade 5th grade and above have all been handed over to Chu Yunlong to develop in other provinces. Jiang Haishan replied. The Chu family's old master was able to become a star spirit because of the medicine Chu Yunlong sent back. Thank you very much, Jiang Chongkong said. Jiang Haishan continued. You're welcome. It's a pleasant surprise. We found evidence in the Chu family. It's a great achievement. I'll report it for you. Jiang Chongkong thanked him. Thank you. Let me know when you're done. Let's have a meal together. I have to leave. Okay. Jiang Haishan agreed and hung up the phone. After the meal, Jiang Chongkong called his senior sister again. Ji Xiling and Ji Zifeng were busy annexing the Chu family's property with Ing Yinxue and Yang Qinggan. Jiang Chongkong didn't disturb them anymore and played by himself at home. In the evening, Jiang Chongkong's phone rang. Jiang Haishan wanted to have a meal with him. Everyone in Budokai was informed. Headmaster Yu Bailin, Vice Headmaster Jiang Shui, Mu Jinhong, Ji Zifeng, and others were also there. They didn't go to the hotel restaurant. Instead, they went to Jiang Haishan's home. A large table was set up and some good wine was served. You're done so soon? Jiang Chongkong looked at the gathered people, a little puzzled. The Chu family had a lot of property. At their speed, they shouldn't be able to distribute it all in 2 or 3 days. Now that the situation is set, we can take it slow. Jiang Haishan smiled and said, I heard that you're in a hurry to go to the Anding province. We can't delay it. Yes. Ji Xiling nodded and said, this banquet is for you. Thank you for your trouble. Jiang Chongkong Shan cupped his hands and said, what trouble? You've helped us reap a lot of benefits. Jiang Haishan smiled and said, however, don't you want a share of the property? No need. Jiang Chongkong shook his head. With so many people, there wouldn't be a lot of things. They didn't say anything else and sat down to drink. There was no sadness of parting during the banquet. The Anding province was relatively close, so it was easy to see them. The banquet lasted until late at night. When they were almost drunk, they went their separate ways. When they left, Jiang Chongkong also got 100 mid-grade, 5th grade star stones. Principal, I've graduated. I won't go back to Jiangxing with you, Jiang Changkong said in a low voice. Yu Balin patted his shoulder and said, Be careful when you're alone. Safety first. I understand. Then, I won't bid farewell to the two senior sisters. Jiang Changkong looked in the direction in which the two senior sisters left. They were picked up by Ji Zifeng. Yu Balin watched him leave until Jiang Changkong's figure completely disappeared. Then, he turned and walked toward Jiangshui School. Ending province, Ping and city. Jiang Changkong opened the map on his phone and headed to the Anding province. Although Ping and city wasn't a provincial capital, it wasn't small either. It was much bigger than Gangshui Castle. Tang Ruashi was interning at a research institute in Ping and province. There was also a mission on the Budokai official website. Abyss mission. Large-scale mission. Abyss mission. Clean up the abyss. Assist the research institute to build a stronghold. Reward, 50,000 points. News of the mineral veins was in the abyss. In the abyss, there were powerful star demons everywhere. Hidden stars often appeared. Some people even found a star spirit-level star demon in the abyss. Jiang Changkong accepted the abyss mission to help the research institute build a stronghold. This research institute was where Tang Ruashi was working. Along the way, Jiang Changkong killed all the star demon he encountered, turning them into ashes with the power of the raging Inferno Star. It was a pity that there were too few Stargate-level beasts, and Jiang Changkong had only encountered 3 of them until dawn. As for hidden star demons, he didn't encounter a single one. Looking at the map, Jiang Changkong went all out, using the Yuling art and moonlight art. After practicing the cold moon art, he hadn't used this footwork yet. Moonlight bloomed beneath his feet, and moonlight shone as he walked. Walking on the moon. Under the moonlight, if he could walk on air, coupled with his footwork, he could truly walk on the moon. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, it was dawn. Jiang Changkong looked at the map. At his speed, he would reach the Tranquil province in 2 days. After finding a place to rest for 2 hours, Jiang Changkong continued on his way. In the evening, Jiang Changkong stopped in a dense forest. In the distance, the conversation of 5 people attracted his attention. Are we really going to get that stupid stone? A short-haired, middle-aged man asked. Of course, it's called a star-guiding stone. With that thing, the Research Institute can create a mineral vein detection device. This was a long-haired, middle-aged man, his hair draped over his back. But that star-guiding stone is guarded by 2 hidden star peak star demon. You're the only hidden star peak among us. The 4 looked at the long-haired, middle-aged man and said worriedly, Star-guiding stone, mineral vein detection device? Jiang Changkong stared at the 5 people, his ears twitching, listening to their conversation. If it could really detect mineral veins, then this stone would be very useful to him. He might have to fight for it. Chapter 148. Jiang Changkong pondered for a moment. He was not in a hurry to go. He took out his phone and contacted Tang Ruashi. Do you know about the star-guiding stone? Tang Ruashi should have gotten off work at this hour. Tang Ruashi replied immediately. I know. You're not going to get it, are you? Yes, I met 5 people on the way here. They were talking about it. Do you know the location? I want to get it in advance. Jiang Changkong replied. Tang Ruashi replied. I know. Send me the location first. By the way, shouldn't you be taking a car? I walked here. It's too slow by car. Jiang Changkong sent the location. Tang Ruashi, too slow by car? You're good at walking here. It's a bit far from you, but I don't recommend you go there. There will be people from Budokai interfering this time. Tang Ruashi said, I'm the president of Budokai now. Jiang Changkong said indifferently. Don't worry. As long as the mid-stage astral spirit doesn't show up, there won't be a problem. He had never fought against a mid-stage astral spirit before, so it was hard to say. You should be able to win? You're already so terrifying? Tang Ruashi sent a shocked emoji. Be careful of them. Don't underestimate any of them, because they might have astral spirit armors. Astral spirit armors. The first thought that came to Jiang Changkong's mind was, rich people, 6th grade astral spirit armors. Would there be 6th grade astral spirit stones? Nan Tianping and the others didn't even have one. It seemed that there were still some rich people in the ending province. Tang Ruashi sent a location. Jiang Changkong navigated there directly. Jiang Changkong didn't bother to strike up a conversation with the five of them and left. The star guiding stone was not too far away. At his current speed, it would only take him half an hour. Switching to the mystic yang steps and the Yuling chant, Jiang Changkong walked on the sun. Half an hour later, Jiang Changkong arrived at the foot of a small mountain. The star guiding stone was inside this small mountain. Occasionally, the roars of the star demon could be heard. The dense forest was overgrown with weeds. When Jiang Changkong stepped into the dense forest, he heard the sound of conversation. Guild leader, it's just a star guiding stone. Is there a need for you to take action personally? Yeah, guild leader will do it. You're a star soul expert. What do you know? Obtaining the star guiding stone will not only earn you a favor from the research institute, but you'll also gain the favor of that person. This star guiding stone is very important. I have to do it myself to ensure that nothing goes wrong. A rough voice sounded. That way, that person will take us to complete the abyssal quest. Guild leader, why are you acting so mysterious? Just who is that person? Why is he so important to you? He's from the big province. The president said in a deep voice, pay attention to this daddy. If anything goes wrong, this daddy will skin him alive. Another big province. Jiang Changkong frowned. He didn't know if the person in charge of this big province mission was as insignificant as Li Changtian's. If that was the case, he wouldn't have much to gain. Jiang Changkong sped up and soon caught up with the person from Budokai. There were 4 people in total. They didn't hide their astral power. The leader was an early-stage star soul, while the other 3 were at the peak of the hidden star realm. They didn't stop and kept moving forward. The president's face darkened. Someone just went over, he said hurriedly. Are you kidding, guild leader? Who went over? The other 3 burst out laughing. He looked around. He didn't even see a ghost, let alone a person. What do you know? I'll go first. The president cursed angrily and quickly rushed forward. Jiang Changkong was slightly surprised. He didn't expect the early-stage star soul to be able to find him. Could it be that the other party had something like the essence martial compass? It wasn't unusual for a large Budokai to have something like that, but it didn't matter. An early-stage star soul wouldn't be able to take the star guiding stone from him. After passing through the dense forest, a cave appeared in front of him. 2 powerful astral powers were fluctuating violently in the cave. Jiang Changkong went straight into the cave. At the end of the cave was a wide space where 2 ugly star demon were resting. Roar! Jiang Changkong's arrival had not been concealed and had alarmed them. The 2 star demons unleashed their star power at the first instant. The violent power surged, and the entire cave was shaking. Rocks fell as if the cave was about to collapse. Jiang Changkong was already prepared. The Tai Chi painting spread out and enveloped the cave, suppressing the 2 star demon. Under the effect of the Tai Chi painting, the 2 star demon at the peak of the hidden star realm were pressed down, and their astral power was forced back into their bodies. Then they went around looking for star guiding stones. There was a pile of stones in the cave, ranging from the size of a palm to the size of a human head. There were at least 100 of them. The Yuling art was activated. The invisible astral power passed through, and all the stones floated in the air. A yellow stone emitting misty starlight quietly floated in the air. This should be the star guiding stone. Jiang Changkong took a picture of the star guiding stone and sent it to Tang Ruashi. Yes, this is it, Tang Ruashi replied immediately. Jiang Changkong pressed his right hand, and the 2 star demon at the peak of the hidden star realm poured the Tai Chi painting into the star demon's body. The 2 star demon bled from their orifices and died. Put down the star guiding stone. A cold voice was heard. The burly president, wearing a black outfit and black boots, had finally arrived. Jiang Changkong held the star guiding stone and looked at him indifferently. I don't want to hurt you. Get out of my way. How arrogant. The president snorted, and an enormous amount of astral power burst out, causing the cave to shake violently. I'll wait for you outside. You can't leave. Jiang Changkong frowned slightly. He dug out the star guiding stone and extracted the essences of the corpses before walking out of the cave. He couldn't use his power in the cave, so the outside was the best place to do it. As soon as he walked out of the cave, the president's burly body emitted boundless starlight. The starlight was dazzling and golden, making him look like a mountain. I'll say it again. Hand over the star guiding stone, and I'll let you go, the president said in a deep voice. One palm strike, and you'll know when to retreat. Jiang Changkong's expression was calm. He raised his right hand and released the sun's astral power. The golden flames danced in his palm, and the 5 force patterns in his body vibrated at the same time. The president's expression darkened. A yellow heavy sword appeared in his hand, and the golden astral power spread in all directions. Buzz! The ground rippled strangely like a swamp. The mud covered Jiang Changkong's ankles. Mountain shifting sword, the president shouted in a low voice. He dashed across the swamp as if he was flying. His heavy sword was like a mountain pressing down heavily. A heavy and majestic aura was emitted. Jiang Changkong's eyes were indifferent. He still used one palm strike. Jiang Changkong slapped the heavy sword, and the terrifying sun's astral power exploded. Boom! Clang! It was as if gold and iron had collided. The violent astral force passed through, but Jiang Changkong's body didn't move, while the president slid back more than 10 meters. The sun's astral power passed through, and the mud on his feet melted. The ground dried up and no longer rippled. Jiang Changkong raised his eyebrows. His palm strike only pushed him back and didn't injure him at all. However, he was too lazy to think about it and was about to leave. Stop! The president snorted coldly and instantly appeared in front of Jiang Changkong, blocking his path. I only want the treasure. I don't want to kill anyone. Jiang Changkong's expression turned cold. How arrogant. You're just taking a few steps back. The president snorted, and the yellow light on his body shone brightly. Hand over the star guiding stone, and I won't make things difficult for you. I'll even invite you to join Budokai. Jiang Changkong didn't say anything else. He flipped his right hand, and a long sword appeared. The warm sunshine, the blazing sun, just rose. The president shouted. The heavy sword vibrated, and the yellow light shone brightly. Come! The sun's blade flashed. The yellow light trembled and dimmed. The president's vision went black, and he fainted. Jiang Changkong came to his side and looked around. How could a poor guy be the president? 50 mid-grade, 5th grade starstones. No wonder he had to find someone to carry him to the abyss. Chapter 149. The president of the Tranquil province was quite strong. Jiang Changkong had to use 70% of his astral power to knock him out. Now that he had perfected all 3 of his martial arts, he could easily beat him up. The president's defense was much stronger than the astral spirits he had met. He took the star stone and didn't kill anyone. It was already dark, and the moon was hanging high in the sky. Jiang Changkong walked on the moonlight, avoiding the other 3, and went down the hill. He left at full speed and saw many people on the way to the hill. Apparently, they were also there for the star stone. With the star stone in hand, Jiang Changkong didn't plan to stay any longer and went straight to Peace City. The next evening, Jiang Changkong stood on a weed and activated his astral power. He was as light as a swallow. Peace City was right in front of him. He could already see the outline of the city. Not far from him, a group of martial artists caught his attention. Those martial artists were quite strange. They had silver rings on their hands and feet, as if they were carrying mountains on their backs. They walked slowly and breathed heavily. There were a few middle-aged men beside them, looking at them solemnly without saying a word. Jiang Changkong couldn't help but walk over curiously. He came to the side of a young man in his 20s, looked at him, and asked, "What are you doing?" The young man was panting heavily. He glanced at Jiang Changkong and ignored him. "Don't disturb him. Talking is a waste of energy," a middle-aged man said. "Oh, I'm just curious." Jiang Changkong looked at the young man apologetically and walked to the middle-aged man. "Brother, how should I address you? What are they doing?" "And Yuan Shan? They're practicing weight training to get used to it," the middle-aged man said. "Get used to it? Weight training? What for? To strengthen the body? Then they should practice the iron shirt." Jiang Changkong was a bit confused. Even if the iron shirt couldn't defend against enemies of the same level, it would still be better than simply carrying weight. This is the recruitment standard of the Federation. They don't need to be strong, only to get used to the weight. Now it's just the body. Later, it's the astral power. And Yuan Shan explained, there's such a standard for the Federation's recruitment. Jiang Changkong was a little surprised. He had never heard Jiang Shan mention it before. You're not from the Tranquil province, right? The recruitment criteria have always been like this. And Yuan Shan said, special soldiers. Jiang Changkong had never paid attention to this kind of information, so he didn't know about it. This was the first time he had seen a special unit that could adapt to heavy loads. Only these few people are participating? Jiang Changkong counted. There were about 40 of them, and their strength was not bad. The weakest was at Galaxy, and the strongest was at the pinnacle of Stargate. Of course not. These are just people from the Peace City who joined the Federation's conscription. Of course, there are also people who joined purely for the Abyss. Many of the conscripts from the major powers in the provinces don't train here, either. And Yuan Shan said, a major force in a major province is also recruiting this kind of martial artist? Jiang Changkong was puzzled. Could those big powers have their own soldiers? Abyss? What does this have to do with the Abyss? Jiang Changkong asked. It seems that you haven't done your homework since you came to the Tranquil province. And Yuan Shan smiled and said, in the depths of the Abyss, there's a special area that we call the gravity area. Moreover, the gravity here is 3 times that of the same level. Everyone below the high-level martial artist level will be affected. Gravity area? Are there many treasures in there? A strange look flashed across Jiang Changkong's face. If there were many, he would probably have to train as well. You're interested? Do you want to give it a try? And Yuan Shan asked. I can give it a try? Jiang Changkong's interest was piqued. He originally wanted to look for Tang Ruoshi, but he remembered that she was just an intern now, so he couldn't trouble her with everything. Of course, no problem. And Yuan Shan said, and took out 4 bracelets. Put them on your wrist and ankle. Jiang Changkong followed the instructions and put the bracelets on. There was a button on his left hand for adjusting and closing. The bracelets could be turned on up to 5 times the gravity. The Federation's recruitment standard was 5 times the gravity. The other big powers were weaker. They would be fine as long as their skills weren't affected under 4 times the gravity. Jiang Changkong hit his astral power and turned on the gravity. First, he doubled the gravity. An invisible force came from his wrist and ankle and enveloped his entire body, trying to pull him to the ground. But this force seemed to be very weak. The force in his body trembled, and the invisible force seemed to have weakened a lot. He turned on twice the gravity and felt a little bit better. 3 times. Jiang Changkong felt that there was a huge rock on his body, but it wasn't much pressure. 4 times. The pressure was okay. After adjusting it to 5 times, Jiang Changkong staggered and almost fell, as if he was carrying a small mountain on his back. How is it? And Yuan Shan said with a smile, many people from other provinces don't know the situation and have suffered a lot. It's okay. Jiang Changkong shook his body. Although the pressure was not small, it didn't affect him much. Golden light appeared on the surface of his body. The 5 force patterns in Jiang Changkong's body trembled, and a terrifying force was recovering. Clang! There was the sound of sharp blade being unsheathed. Golden blood flowed out of his King Kong bones. And Yuan Shan's eyes narrowed as he looked at Jiang Changkong in shock. The surface of his body glowed with golden light, and the sound of his blood flowing could be heard clearly. The crowd that was moving slowly turned around in shock. He sneaked a glance at his own data, and his expression changed. The data trembled. The diamond indestructible divine art trembled. Is he going to break through and become an astral spirit? Fortunately, the golden light quickly dimmed, and the force patterns calmed down. The pressure dissipated, and he didn't feel anything. The data was no longer trembling. The bracelets didn't suit him at all. Others wanted to break through, but he didn't want it all. His other martial arts hadn't been perfected yet. If he broke through, his energy would shrink. He quickly untied the bracelets and returned them to Yuan Shan. Not bad. Goodbye. Ah, plop. Can you turn off the gravity and give it back to me? It's still on. And Yuan Shan got up from the ground, dumbfounded. The others were even more confused. He doesn't seem to be affected? A young man panted. I think so. He undid it so quickly without using astral power. Is it twice? Oh my God, it's 5 times. And Yuan Shan looked at the bracelets and looked around. Where is he? Where's that guy? He ran away. 5 times? Isn't it his first time wearing it? What kind of genius is he? The Federation needs geniuses like him. Jiang Changkong had already run away. He ran as fast as he could into Ping'an City. He had lost all interest in the training of carrying the heavy load. He might as well practice the iron shirt. He entered Ping'an City and shared his location with Tang Ruashi. Jiang Changkong quickly walked over. In the suburbs to the north of the city. Few people lived here, and it was very quiet. The research institute was built here, and few people came to disturb it. Astral power was hidden in the tall steel walls. 2 people had been waiting in front of the gate for a long time. Changkong, over here. One of them waved. Sister Ruashi. Tang Ruashi quickly walked over. There was a young woman next to Tang Ruashi. She's the professor's assistant, Su Qian. She's also my best friend here. Please come in. The professor heard that you're coming and prepared tea, Tang Ruashi said. You're waiting for the star-guiding stone, right? Jiang Changkong smiled. He didn't want the professor to wait for him. Chapter 150. The Research Institute has facial recognition and access card recognition. Both are indispensable. Tang Ruashi took out a black card and placed it on the door. The door glowed with starlight and slid open to both sides. After they passed through, it closed automatically. So, if you want to go in, you can only contact me. Tang Ruashi said and pointed to the sky. You can't climb over the wall here. There are weapons hidden here. Even star spirits can't break in. How many star stones is this research institute worth? Jiang Changkong looked at the research institute. Apart from the wall, there were several other buildings made of unknown alloys. How many star stones did it cost to build this? Su Qian looked at Jiang Changkong strangely. Tang Ruashi already knew his character. She shrugged and said, I don't know. I heard from the professor that the Federation is funding it. Jiang Changkong said nothing and followed Tang Ruashi into a building. They took the elevator and went straight to the 3rd floor. This was the lounge. A middle-aged woman was making tea. When she saw them, she waved them over. Come and sit. This must be Jiang Changkong, right? Tang Ruashi hurriedly replied, Yes, Changkong. This is Professor Yun. Hello, Professor Yun. Jiang Changkong extended his hand. Professor Yun extended his hand and shook it lightly. I heard from Ruashi that you want to build a 6th-grade weapon? Yes, I happen to have an item. I have a friend who lacks a suitable weapon. Jiang Changkong said. Are the materials ready? Professor Yun asked. No, only a sword tip. Jiang Changkong shook his head. There's no rush. I will gather the other materials as soon as possible. Professor Yun smiled. I heard from Ruashi that you are very strong and talented. Not bad. It should be no problem for me to deal with early-stage and mid-stage star spirits. Jiang Changkong said. After a pause, he continued. I've accepted an abyssal mission to help you build a stronghold. I wonder how strong Chang, Kaisheng, and Budokai are. How many people did you bring? Professor Yun asked. Jiang Changkong's expression stiffened. Me? And Ruashi? Professor Yun. Forget about Tang Ruashi. She was from the Research Institute. She knew what she was doing. You're a large Budokai, and you only have one president come out to do quests? Professor, Changkong is best at group battles. He can fight a group of Star Demon alone, Tang Ruashi quickly said. Professor Yin shook his head. Give me the star-guiding stone. Make a request that I can fulfill. As for building a stronghold, that's Budokai's business. I won't interfere. Jiang Changkong was speechless. This meant that there was no room for negotiation. I don't have any requests. The star-guiding stone is a gift for Sister Ruashi. Jiang Changkong took out the star-guiding stone and placed it on the tea table. Professor Yin smiled. This gift is very precious. How about this? When you gather the materials, I'll personally make a weapon for you. Thank you. Jiang Changkong didn't refuse again. I still have things to do. Ruashi, you and Changkong haven't seen each other for a long time. Take him out for a few days. I'll have someone clean up a room for you. After saying that, Professor Yin got up and left. Su Qian took a sip of tea. I'm going to work too. You guys have fun. Tang Ruashi leaned back in her chair. The professor also has an appointment with the Big Tortoise in Pingon City. Big Tortoise? Jiang Changkong was a little confused. The president of Pingon City, Budokai, and Dingbang. Nice name. People call him a tortoise. Earth elemental astral power is very strong. In fact, his heavy sword is also good, but compared to defense, it's a bit lacking. Tang Ruashi explained. And Dingbang? Defense? Heavy sword? Isn't this the one I knocked out? He doesn't have a star guiding stone, Jiang Changkong said. But he has 100 people in Budokai, and the lowest one is at the peak of Stargate. By the way, I forgot to tell you, under the Abyss, there are gravity zones, 3 times gravity zones, and other zones. Tang Ruashi said, I'll get the gravity ring later. You get used to it first. And Dingbang's group has already adapted. No need. I got used to it when I was at the door. Jiang Changkong told her what happened. Tang Ruashi was full of surprise. I didn't expect you to adapt so quickly. Is the iron skin really that strong? Well, by the way, I want to go to the Abyss tomorrow, Jiang Changkong said. I'm afraid I can't go with you tomorrow. I have an important research to do. Xiao Qian can go with you. Tang Ruashi thought for a moment and said, That's fine. Jiang Changkong thought for a moment and said, He didn't know much about the Abyss, so it would be good to have a guide. Although it might be a little troublesome to protect her, it would also save a lot of trouble. Peace City only knew the surface information about the Abyss and didn't know much about its depths. In the depths of the Abyss, the star demon of the astral spirit level appeared, and there were some special areas, such as the gravity zone. Even a peak astral spirit wouldn't dare to say that they could go anywhere they wanted. Next, they talked about some daily things. Tang Ruashi was doing research every day and felt very fulfilled. Then, Jiang Changkong asked her to take him to rest while she was lecturing him about armor, making, and alloys. Compared to the female comrade and the foodie, Tang Ruashi was not normal. She was a research maniac who devoted all her time to research. She could stay up for days and nights, lecturing others about how to make armor and so on. Jiang Changkong couldn't stand it, so he might as well rest. A bed, a wooden table, and a computer, nothing else. Jiang Changkong turned on the computer and began to search for information about the Abyss. 100 miles away from the north gate of Peace City, there was a huge crack in the ground that was thousands of meters deep. The star demon was rampant under it, and the environment was harsh. In addition to the gravity zone, there were also swamps and terrifying deep pools, known as the 3 most dangerous places. There was an underground cold pool that was extremely cold, and even astral spirit martial artists would be affected. There was a star demon hidden in it, and early astral spirit martial artists had fallen in it. These were only the 3 most dangerous places known. No one knew how many horrors there were in the unknown depths. After looking up information about the Abyss, they began to search for top experts in Peace City and even the Stability Province. The strongest in Peace City were a few late-stage astral spirits, but this news was 10 years ago. It was unknown whether they had reached the peak of astral spirit. There is a lot of information on the internet about the peak of astral spirit in the entire Stability Province. As for high-level martial artists, the netizens on the internet were very excited when they fought with other provinces. They were certain that there were, but there was no evidence. Apart from the war of words, no one mentioned high-level martial artists. I wonder if those people who sold the quota in Stability Province are still there. Jiang Changkong whispered. 1 quota for 1,000 upper-grade, 5th-grade star stones. Back then, there were 15 quotas in Stability Province. How many star stones would that be? He hoped that they were still there, and so were the star stones. After checking the information, Jiang Changkong fell asleep on the bed. He slept until dawn. Jiang Changkong got up early. He had just finished washing up when Su Qian, who was dressed in a tight suit, walked over quickly. I heard that you want to go to the Abyss. Su Qian stood at the door and asked gently. Yes, thank you, Sister Su Qian. Jiang Changkong nodded and said politely. Are you done? I'm ready, Su Qian said. I'm done. Let's go. Jiang Changkong closed the door and left together with Su Qian. The two of them went out of the gate of the research institute. Su Qian walked briskly in front of them. If we walk fast, we can still catch the first bus. We can get there in half an hour. Jiang Chongkong said faintly. Let's walk. It's faster than driving. Are you sure? I promise. Well, it seems that you're really strong, Su Qian said. She paused and then said, however, don't be too careless. The abyss is not a place where those at the peak of Hidden Star can run wild. You know my cultivation level? Jiang Chongkong was surprised. When they met yesterday, he did not show it. I study all the detection equipment. Not to mention you. Even if high-level martial artists come, it'll be difficult to hide. Su Qian explained. As soon as you entered the research institute, we knew. So, Professor Yin has some opinions about you. Professor Yun has opinions about me? Jiang Chongkong frowned. Yes, you're at the peak of Hidden Star. Why do you say that you can deal with early-stage and mid-stage star spirits? Moreover, I heard that you're also paying attention to the news of the mineral vein this time. You should know that many people are paying attention to it. Su Qian said. Jiang Chongkong. So in your eyes, I'm the king of bragging now. Chapter 151. The two went out of the city. Jiang Chongkong grabbed Su Qian's arm and left quickly with the mystic yang steps. A distance of 100 miles, for him, took less than a quarter of an hour. Su Qian also experienced the feeling of being as fast as the wind. The huge abyssal chasm was hundreds of feet wide and several miles long. The two stopped at one end of the abyssal chasm. The other end was far away. It's so fast, much faster than my 6th grade armor. Standing in front of the huge underground chasm, Su Qian said excitedly. Jiang Chongkong was curious. Have you used a 6th grade armor before? 6th grade armor, early stage, star spirit armor. Of course, I am a professor's assistant. I have my own armor. Ruashi also has one. Su Qian raised her head proudly and said, I am now sure that your speed is no worse than a star spirit martial artist. Ha! Jiang Chongkong smiled and said nothing. Who told you that I used all my strength? This time I brought armor. Su Qian said, and a toy-sized armor appeared in her palm. As long as I infuse it with star power and identify it, I can wear it. Very strong. Jiang Chongkong praised. Of course, but now take me down. Su Qian pointed in a direction. That is the entrance. Jiang Chongkong was slightly stunned. You don't want to wear it now? Su Qian was a little embarrassed. I don't have much energy. Save it. Okay. Jiang Chongkong grabbed her arm and led her forward again. It was a staircase that extended all the way to the ground. The staircase was about 10 meters wide, enough for many people to pass through. This was built by the martial artists of Ping City, and it took a lot of manpower and material resources. The two were extremely fast, and in just a few minutes, they had reached the underground. Starlight filled the air like a faint light in the night, illuminating the underground. There was a bright starlight in front, guiding the way. Behind them was soil, and in front of them was a wide canyon. Ping City is in front of us, the first stronghold built here. Su Qian pointed to the light in front and said, if you want to build a stronghold, the most basic condition is that there is no star demon within 5 miles. Jiang Chongkong said calmly, there's no star demon within 5 kilometers. That's not a big deal. You'll know soon enough. The depths of this abyss have practically formed an underground world. It's incomparably vast. Su Qian shook her head and said, we're just trying to gain a foothold in a wide area. Jiang Chongkong brought her along and listened to her story as they walked. The stronghold they were going to build this time was in a wide area. What they were about to face was most likely a star spirit level star demon. The two of them soon arrived at the stronghold. It was just a simple mud house. Although it was reinforced with astral power, it could not defend against the star demon. He didn't stop for long and continued on his way. Along the way, he saw stars rising and falling, never dispersing. Su Qian told him that there was something buried underground that gathered the starlight to illuminate this place. After making a comparison in his mind, he had to admit that the entire Zhanghai province was no match for Ping City. Along the way, the two of them saw many mud houses that were inhabited. These were the houses of the major forces in Ping City. And Dingbong's Budokai also had a mud house here. Some of these stone houses were open for business, while others were closed. It was quite lively. If they felt that the value of the things they got was low, they could sell them directly here instead of bringing them back to the city to sell. It was very convenient. After passing through the group of mud houses, they arrived at the vast space that Su Qian mentioned. It was no longer like a canyon, but more like a space that stretched as far as the eye could see. If it weren't for the fact that there was only mud a few hundred meters above their heads, it would be like a small world. Roar! Roars resounded as the star demons howled in agitation. Starlight soared into the sky and shook the surroundings. In the distance, some mud fell, and the mud above their heads was a little farther away from them. If this goes on, I'm afraid the distance to the ground will not be enough to fight. Jiang Changkong looked up at the mud above his head. This is the real abyss. The place we chose for our stronghold is still some distance away, Su Qian said. Let's go and have a look, Jiang Changkong said. Su Qian pointed in a direction, and Jiang Changkong led her forward. At first, the ground was flat, but as they moved forward, some plants began to appear. As they moved forward, the plants gradually grew from a dozen centimeters to 1 meter and even 2 meters of weeds. The roar of the star demon kept coming from all directions. Roar! The star demon roared, and the starlight shone brightly. An ugly star demon jumped out of the weeds. Little bang! As soon as Su Qian spoke, the star demon directly exploded and turned into a mist of blood. The starstone automatically flew into Jiang Changkong's hand. The top of the 3rd rank. You take it. If there are too many, you and Sister Ruashi can each have half. Jiang Changkong threw it to her casually. He was not interested in a 3rd rank one. Su Qian didn't stand on ceremony and accepted the starstone. Along the way, many star demon came. All of them were 3rd rank, and they all turned into star stones in the end. A few minutes later, Jiang Changkong stopped. They had arrived at their destination. There were no stones or weeds on the spacious flatland. There was only a stone house, which should have been cleaned up. Su Qian knocked on the door of the stone house, but no one responded. No one is here. They must have gone out to explore. Along the way, there were only 3rd rank ones. We didn't even encounter Stargate. Is there really a star demon here? Jiang Changkong frowned. Of course. Hidden star demons often appear in front of us, and occasionally star spirit demons. Su Qian pointed in front of them. In the dense weeds, there was a faint roar of beasts. Have you determined where the mine is? Jiang Changkong asked again. Only one area. I'm not sure about the details, Su Qian said. Jiang Changkong said, then let's go to the mine area to take a look. Su Qian said solemnly, no problem, but you have to promise not to mess around. There are many people in that area. Don't use your star power to attack. Jiang Changkong nodded. Only then did Su Qian point in the direction. The two of them walked on the grass and quickly disappeared. Boom! There was a deafening sound. Starlight exploded in front of them, and the star power swept in all directions. Dust flew, and the weeds were turned to dust. Astral spirit? What a coincidence. Jiang Changkong looked ahead. A middle-aged man was fighting a star demon. He happened to know this middle-aged man. It was in Yuanshan. At this moment, and Yuanshan was clearly at a disadvantage. He was being suppressed by the star demon and was in danger several times. Its uncle, and Su Qian was surprised and quickly said, hurry up and retreat. I'll go help him. As she spoke, she took out her armor and was about to fight. You'd better save it. Jiang Changkong waved his hand and put her down. Be careful. Jiang Changkong, don't go. Even Uncle is no match for it. That star demon is definitely at the peak of the early stage of astral spirit, Su Qian quickly said. And Yuanshan also sensed that someone was coming. When he heard Su Qian's voice, he shouted, Su Qian, run. I can run. With his strength, even if he couldn't win, he could still run away. Jiang Changkong took a step forward and stepped into the battlefield. The power of the sun gathered, and a golden sun was formed. The weeds around couldn't withstand the high temperature and started to burn. The star demon growled. Sensing the threat, endless starlight burst out of its body to resist the golden sun. Rumble. Two streams of astral power collided, and a terrifying airwave spread in all directions. The star demon roared in pain and rolled away. Blood splattered, and brownish-green blood splattered. And Yuan Shan's heart skipped a beat. He quickly stepped back and looked at Jiang Chongkong. "Who? It's you, genius." Jiang Chongkong. Although I like this title, many people have called me that. But I'm a bit embarrassed to hear you call me that directly. Chapter 152. Roar. The star demon didn't run away. Instead, it became even more violent. Starlight converged, forming a beam of stellar force that could destroy heaven and earth as it rushed over. "Watch out," and Yuan Shan warned. The peak of the early stage of astral spirit. This is it. Jiang Chongkong had figured out the difference between them after that attack. The blazing sun astral power rose again, but it was warm like the sun. Blazing sunblade. The astral power formed a blade and slashed down. Roar. The star demon roared, and the power of the astral power beam increased. Buzz. However, under the blazing sun, everything melted. The light pillar of the star power instantly dispersed, and the blade radiance was unstoppable. It landed on the star demon. Boom! With a tremor, the star demon suddenly split open and was split into two by the blade chi. Blood filled the air and sprinkled down. Jiang Chongkong waved his hand, and the star stones flew into his hidden star ring. Not bad. 1,000 points of essence, chi, and spirit. Even a corpse had 200 points. But it wasn't easy to take it out in front of them. "It's dead." Su Qian looked at the scene in shock. 2 moves, and the star demon at the peak of the early star spirit realm was split in half. Was this really the peak of astral spirit? Was Jiang Chongkong really not bragging? And Yuan Shan looked at the star demon's corpse, and then at Jiang Chongkong. His eyes lit up. "Good seedling, definitely a good seedling." Jiang Chongkong. "What good seed? Don't talk nonsense. I'm not going to join the army." "Genius, I forgot to ask for your name yesterday." And Yuan Shan said excitedly, "A genius like you must join the army." "No." Jiang Chongkong refused decisively and turned to Su Qian, who was still in daze. "Sister Su Qian." "Oh." Su Qian came back to her senses and quickly walked to Jiang Chongkong. "Uncle Lin, this is Jiang Chongkong, Ruashi's friend." "Ruashi's friend? Could it be that he came from Jianghai province?" And Yuan Shan exclaimed. "Is there a problem?" Jiang Chongkong frowned. No problem. The news said that Jianghai province has a Jiang Xingshi who only recognizes star stones. "Are you?" And Yuan Shan looked at him excitedly. Jiang Xingshi was a genius who had defeated a major province. Although that group of people wasn't valued and didn't amount to much, it was still not something that Ding province could compare to. Moreover, the province had sent 4 early-stage star spirits there that night, and they were all locked up like cowards. However, before he could finish speaking, he was interrupted by Jiang Chongkong, who said with some embarrassment and annoyance, "You're Jiang Xingshi. Your whole family is called Xingshi." "Ahem, all right. So, are you the one on the star stone or not?" And Yuan Shan coughed and asked. "No." Jiang Chongkong shook his head. "I just like star stones." And Yuan Shan, "Didn't you just admit it?" Su Qian was even more shocked than when he had just killed the star demon. Jiang Chongkong's strength had already surprised her enough. She didn't expect that he was really the one on the news. He had defeated the star spirits of the province. This strength was not a lie. "If you have nothing to talk about, let's go to the mine area first," Jiang Chongkong said lightly. "You're also interested in the mine?" And Yuan Shan's expression changed slightly, and he said solemnly, "I suggest you don't. Don't talk about Ping'an City now. The entire Ding province and even some major provincial forces are watching." "Major provinces? High-level martial artists?" Jiang Chongkong's expression darkened slightly. "No, high-level martial artists don't have the leisure to compete for the mine, but there are many late-stage star spirits and peak star spirits." And Yuan Shan advised, "You're such a good seedling. Don't let anything happen to you." "I'm just taking a look," Jiang Chongkong said lightly. Right now, his strength was indeed a little lacking, so there was no need to say anything. If he really couldn't fight for it, he would just give up and wait for his strength to reach a certain level before looking for a mine. "It just so happens that I have nothing to do anyway. Let's go and have a look together," and Yuan Shan said. Jiang Changkong expressed that he did not care, and Su Qian expressed her welcome. With a wave of his hand, he took out a ball of flame and was about to burn the star demon's body. Su Qian quickly stopped him. Don't burn it. This is a good material. Don't you need weapon materials? Jiang Changkong paused. I'm not burning. I'm just making you think that I'm burning. Otherwise, it will stink. However, those who could forge weapons were not bad. It can be used as a material. This is just an early-stage astral soul, Jiang Changkong said with some disdain. A Tier 6 low-grade weapon, he did not fancy it. Of course, the star demon's claws are sharp and its bones are hard. Even if you want better materials, the professor will agree. Su Qian explained. Then keep it. Help me collect it, Jiang Changkong said. Brother, you need weapon materials? And Yuan Shan rolled his eyes and asked. Seeing you, I suddenly feel that I don't need them, Jiang Changkong said lightly. And Yuan Shan was stunned, but he did not get angry. Why are you being so formal? I just want to say that I have them. You'll only give them to me if I join the army, right? Jiang Changkong curled his lips, and Yuan Shan laughed dryly and said, Let's not talk about this. However, I do know where to find the materials, but it's a bit dangerous. Where? Jiang Changkong's interest was piqued. The gravity zone. Someone once found top-tier 6th-grade materials there. Private information, absolutely reliable. And Yuan Shan whispered, Let's take a look at the mine first. Jiang Changkong did not say anything else. He planned to take a look at all 3 danger zones. After walking for so long, they only met an early-stage star soul star demon. He did not know how long it would take for them to gather their energy. Su Qian collected the star demon's body and even put the blood in a bucket. The 3 of them were extremely fast. A few minutes later, they arrived at a rocky area. The rocks were piled up together. In this chaotic world, some weeds grew. Su Qian said, This is the mine area. There doesn't seem to be any star demon nearby. Jiang Changkong looked around. There was no trace of the star demon. The star demon rarely comes here. It's all rocks, and the star demon doesn't like it, Su Qian said. Jiang Changkong nodded. He could not see anything. The reason why he came here was to confirm the location. Then he asked them to bring him to the horrifying pool. There was a dark green pool, emitting a faint cold air. Jiang Changkong reached out to touch the pool. The lunar star power in his body actually trembled. The lunar cold air. Su Qian said, Don't touch it. The water is very cold, and there are many dangers in it. It's okay. And Yuan Shan waved his hand and said, Brother Changkong is not afraid of this cold air at all. It's very strange. It has a great impact on my blazing sunstar power. Jiang Changkong was a bit surprised. There was lunar cold air here. Would there be something related to the lunar force in it? If there was, then he could have more weapon materials. Jiang Changkong thought for a moment and said, I'll go down and take a look. You wait for me up here. Go down. Are you crazy? The 2 men's expressions changed, and they quickly pulled him back. You have the blazing sun star power. If you enter this cold pool, your strength will definitely be greatly reduced. If you encounter the star spirit star demon, you may die in there. Jiang Changkong said, Don't worry. I'm best at Tai Chi. I owe a friend a favor. He needs cold materials. Besides, I'm just going to take a look. If there's any danger, I'll come up immediately. After speaking, Jiang Changkong's star force forced the 2 of them back, and he directly jumped into the cold pond. As soon as he entered the cold pool, Jiang Changkong used the lunar star power. The silver-white lunar starlight made him feel extremely comfortable when he came into contact with the cold pool water. Chapter 153. Silver-white light flashed in the cold pool. Jiang Changkong was surrounded by moonlight and looked at the cold pool in surprise. Around the cold pool, there were stones shining with silver-white brilliance, releasing cold air. As he dived, there were more and more silver-white stones, and the cold air was getting stronger. In some places, icicles had formed like the moon space. Could it be that there's another half of the star steel here? An idea flashed in Jiang Changkong's mind. The star steel was a treasure that the big forces fought for, and the Federation also wanted. Moreover, even if there was no star steel, just these stones were also a great fortune. Jiang Changkong touched the silver-white icicles and felt the cold air. In summer, it was a good thing. It was an excellent treasure to control cold. It was unknown how deep the cold pool was. Jiang Changkong dived for a few minutes, but did not reach the bottom. There were more and more icicles, and they were getting longer and longer. In the end, they almost crossed the cold pool, blocking him from diving. Jiang Changkong stepped on an icicle, and it was even colder. This place was much colder than the surface. Boom! Under the cold pool, the water was rippling, and a silver-white figure flashed under the icicle. Jiang Changkong pondered for a moment, but he didn't go down to investigate. He jumped up and came to the surface of the pool, buckled a stone, and jumped out of the cold pool. Changkong, Su Qian, and Yuan Shan hurriedly came up to him and looked at him with concern. "I'm fine. Look at this." Jiang Changkong held the stone, which was emitting a trace of coldness. The moon-cold qi was very weak and could not even threaten Su Qian. The cold stone has a trace of moon-cold qi, but it is not very useful. Su Qian commented, "If there are better ones, or if there are more of them, can they be made into weapons?" Jiang Changkong asked. Su Qian's expression changed slightly, and she said in surprise, "Of course you can, but don't tell me you want to go down and get it." "Of course I won't go down. My friend knows this news and will not miss it." Jiang Changkong said, "Your friend? A cultivator of the lunar star power?" And Yuan Shan's eyebrows twitched. Could it be that little prodigy from the Sea family of the major province? Su Qian said, "The one from the Sea family? That's right. She should have come to the frigid pond to train. I heard that not long ago she obtained a moonstone." Jiang Changkong's face twitched. "Not long ago? Nan Tianwang sent it? How did you know?" The two of them asked in surprise. Jiang Changkong, "I was the one who helped him get it. Little Heaven's chosen daughter? Nan Tianwang took the moonstone to pick up girls? It's nothing. My friend is not from the Sea family. He's a man." Jiang Changkong changed the topic. "I owed him a favor back then. Now that I'm strong enough, he wants me to repay him. So that's how it is. However, even though you're strong, it's very dangerous for you to obtain treasures from the cold pond." Su Qian frowned. "It's fine. I just need to tell him the news, and he can take the treasure himself. When he gets the materials, I'll ask you to help me forge weapons. Then we'll be even." Jiang Changkong explained. "That's for the best. However, the men who cultivate the lunar star force are not very strong. I heard that the strongest one is only at the advanced level. Your friend's strength is probably not good enough." And Yuan Shan shook his head gently, indicating that he was not optimistic. He has to pay back what he owes. As for whether he can get it or not, that's his business. Jiang Changkong said indifferently, "Okay, let's go to the gravity area." The two of them did not say anything else and brought him to the gravity area. A few minutes later, the three of them arrived at the gravity area. It looked no different from other places. The same dense weeds and thorns, and the star demon was hidden among them. There was a misty golden starlight here, forming a dividing line. And Yuan Shan said, "Cross this golden starlight line, and you'll reach the gravity area." Jiang Changkong directly crossed the starlight. An invisible force enveloped his body, and he adapted in an instant. Su Qian followed him closely. Her body was slightly bent, and the game was affected. And Yuan Shan was very relaxed, and he was not affected at all. "You're the good one." Jiang Changkong glanced at him and said. And Yuan Shan smiled with a hint of arrogance. "Of course, I was specially recruited into the army, and I've experienced 7 times the gravity." 7 times? There's such a place in Ping'an City? Jiang Changkong asked in surprise. "Do you want to go? As long as you join the army, I'll take you there immediately." And Yuan Shan said excitedly. "No." Jiang Changkong was only surprised. Walking in the gravity area, he said, "There's not much information about the 3 perilous places on the internet. I checked last night, and there's no mention of the lunar cold energy in the pool of terror. There's no detailed introduction of the gravity area either. Of course, there are 2 reasons. First, the Tranquil province doesn't want the news to spread because there are many treasures here. Second, the Feng family restricts the news from spreading. The lunar force is of great help to the Feng family." And Yuan Shan said faintly, The Feng family didn't occupy this place? Jiang Changkong frowned and asked. That's only if we agree. As long as the high-level warriors don't come out, Ping'an City has the power to resist. Moreover, this is a world governed by law. You can come here for treasures, but if you want to take it for yourself, you have to ask everyone. And Yuan Shan's tone was calm, but it revealed a sense of confidence. Even if it was the Feng family, he was not afraid. Su Qian followed beside him. Uncle An's status is very high. Even the Feng family sometimes needs his help. And Yuan Shan smiled and said nothing. A hint of pride appeared on his face, and he looked at Jiang Changkong expectantly. Unfortunately, Jiang Changkong did not give him face. No matter how high Jiang Changkong's status was, it had nothing to do with him. Are those people also practicing carrying weights here? Jiang Changkong looked ahead and saw a few warriors sitting cross-legged in the weeds. That's not it. The people of Budokai practice the earth element technique. Practicing here will help them improve. Su Qian said, the president of Budokai, and Dingbang, practices the earth element technique. His defense is extremely strong, and he has trained himself into an earth tortoise. Little Qian, don't talk nonsense. And Dingbang is also your uncle. And Yuan Shan reprimanded. Su Qian stuck out her tongue. Isn't the earth tortoise? The earth tortoise technique that he practices is still a big tortoise. Jiang Changkong was speechless. It turned out that this was how Dingbang got the title of Big Tortoise. He knew about the earth element. The earth tortoise had another name, Bumpkin. Beep beep. A sound came from Su Qian, and a red light appeared in her pocket. She quickly took it out. What happened? Who is it from the Research Institute? Quickly asked President and Dingbang to come over. We are a research team, and we have encountered trouble in the swamp area. An anxious voice came. I am Su Qian. I will inform him immediately. Su Qian quickly took out her phone and contacted Professor Yun. She did not have the authority to ask Dingbang to come over. She still needed Professor Yin to contact her. Professor Yin replied immediately. Put on your armor and try to stall for time. I will ask President Yun to come over as soon as possible. And Yuan Shan frowned and said, and Dingbang is still in the city, right? Why don't Changkong and I go this time? With our strength and your armor, we should be able to stall for time if we are careful. Stall? Is the swamp area that dangerous? Jiang Changkong frowned. Let's talk on the way. We will know when we get there. Su Qian said anxiously. Jiang Changkong nodded. He still needed the other party to help him forge weapons. It would be good to help. Chapter 154. The most dangerous part of the swamp was the Star Demon's harsh environment. The terrifying swamp was the most dangerous area that could swallow Star Soul warriors. Under the swamp, the Star Demon was hidden. If one was not careful, even a peak Star Soul warrior would die. The Research Institute was going to build a base here. According to the rules, they had to test the surrounding environment. Of course, it was also because there were many treasures hidden in the swamp. In addition to the fallen warriors, there were some stones and some rare herbs. Some herbs could only grow in the swamp. Therefore, the swamp was very important to the Research Institute. The Research Institute chose to cooperate with Dingbang because Dingbang had a lot of people in Budokai and was generally strong. It was also because of the Earth Yuan technique. Earth Yuan technique was an earth martial art. Once it was used, it could greatly cooperate with the Research Institute. Although the Research Institute also had some equipment that could resist the dangers of the swamp, it was too expensive and it was not as convenient as the Earth Yuan technique warriors. Every time the research team came here, they would bring a few Earth Yuan technique warriors, the lowest being the Stargate realm. They have armors. They should be able to hold on until we get there. And Yuan Shan said, I don't know. Su Qian's face was full of anxiety. If only we could go faster. Then, brethren, I will take Sister Qian and go first. Jiang Changkong took a step forward and disappeared instantly with the Yuling technique and Mystic Yang step. And Yuan Shan, where did he go? Isn't your speed a little too fast? In the blink of an eye, Jiang Changkong had turned into a black dot. Your speed has surpassed a mid-grade 6 armor. Su Qian exclaimed. Then your mid-tier 6-tier battle armor, True Water. Jiang Changkong said indifferently. The wind whistled, and the invisible star power protected the two from being affected. It is indeed a little weak. After all, the energy to drive the armor is not a 6th-grade star stone, Su Qian said. Not a 6th-grade star stone. Jiang Changkong raised his eyebrows. Then what does it use? Low-tier star stones are used to purify star power and create star power energy. The amount of star power is huge, but the quality is a little inferior. Su Qian explained. Can you show me the energy source? Jiang Changkong asked curiously. The astral power was purified and the quantity increased. Could the quantity change lead to a qualitative change? Su Qian took out a metal ball the size of an eyeball. It contained a terrifying amount of star power. Jiang Changkong glanced at it and shook his head. Put away. It's meaningless. He didn't know if it was because the quantity wasn't enough, but it didn't cause a qualitative change. This metal ball had no essence, qi, or spirit. But thinking about it, who knew how long this energy source had been created? Even if it had a god, it would have dissipated long ago. As they spoke, the two of them had already arrived in front of the one-year swamp. The swamp was lush with vegetation and looked similar to the rest of the area. Su Qian opened the location sharing, and Jiang Changkong stepped on the plants and moved forward quickly. Don't step on anything other than plants, even if it looks like dry ground, Su Qian said. Jiang Changkong nodded, indicating that he understood. Roar. They had just moved forward 1,000 meters when the soil under the ground turned over and an ugly star demon rushed out from the ground. It had a bloody mouth, emitting a foul stench mixed with the smell of soil. Be careful. Su Qian's heart skipped a beat, and she was about to activate her armor. Don't worry, Jiang Changkong said indifferently. The star demon that rushed out directly exploded into minced meat. A star stone flew into his hand. An early-stage Stargate star demon. He collected it himself. The essence, qi, and spirit of the corpse were extracted, only 2 points. As they continued to move forward, many star demon rushed out. In order to hurry, Jiang Changkong quickly avoided them. In less than a few breaths, the two of them saw a huge metal plate floating in the air with more than a dozen people standing on it. The surrounding star demon roared, and rays of starlight rushed up and bombarded the metal plate. The metal plate emitted a barrier, protecting more than a dozen people. One of them was wearing armor and shot out rays of starlight to resist the star demon's star power. However, there were too many star demon underground, and 2 of them were early-stage star spirits. The person wearing armor could barely resist part of the star power. The rest of the star power hit the metal plate and shook violently. Is this a flight instrument? Jiang Changkong looked at the metal plate and asked. No, it's just floating. The Federation is very strict about the management of flight instruments. There are also star demon in the air, Su Qian said. Jiang Changkong nodded and quickly moved to a spot 500 meters away from the metal plate. Rumble. The star power collided in all directions, sending soil flying and the star demon roaring. That position is not good. Jiang Changkong frowned slightly. Within 500 meters of the metal plate, it was all mud. There was no place to stand. The metal plate was floating bit by bit under the impact of the star power. If it floated any further, it was very likely to enter the depths, and that would be the real danger. Let's attract the star demon, Su Qian pondered and said. If we attract the star demon, we can walk on flat ground when the big turtle comes. He can walk on flat ground? It seems that this place is not particularly dangerous. Jiang Changkong analyzed. Don't mess around. It's likely to swallow the star demon, Su Qian hurriedly said. Assistant Su is here, someone exclaimed. On the metal plate, more than a dozen people looked at Jiang Changkong and Su Qian at the same time. The person wearing the armor was emitting a strong starlight. Assistant Su, put on the armor and jump up with all your strength. We'll cover you. Okay, Su Qian agreed and took out the armor to put it on. The rest of the star demon also noticed the 2 of them, but did not move. Don't move. There's a star demon down there. Jiang Changkong held Su Qian and frowned. He heard the sound of moving underground. There was also a star demon lurking below. In the distance, there was also a star demon rushing over. Besides, there were 2 early-stage star power demons among them. And Ding Bang? When he came, they would die together. There's a star demon? Su Qian's face turned pale, and she was a little frightened. Get on my back. Don't move around. Jiang Changkong directly carried Su Qian on his back. What are you doing, Boom? Before he finished his sentence, a violent burst of star power burst out, and the majestic starlight bloomed with thousands of golden rays. Tens of thousands of beams of golden light and terrifyingly high temperature made Jiang Changkong look like he had turned into a sun. The golden light shone, and the soil under his feet quickly dried up. The starlight underground vibrated and was directly evaporated by the star power. Don't tell me you want to dry this place? Su Qian asked in horror. Do you have enough star power? It's just 500 meters. It's a piece of cake, Jiang Changkong said calmly. He stepped onto the dry ground, and the terrifying temperature made the surrounding plants burn. The soil was dry and firm, as if he was walking on flat ground. Roar! Sensing Jiang Changkong's intention, the surrounding stargate shook, and a few star demon forcibly broke out of the ground. Jiaoyang, Jiang Changkong said indifferently, and the golden light burst out of his body and turned into endless blade rays. With a loud bang, wherever the saber light passed, the star demon would explode. What happened down there? On the metal plate, more than a dozen people looked down in shock. Even though they were in the air, they could still feel the terrifying heat. Some with weak star power couldn't bear it and were drenched in sweat. Roar! A few star demon roared and directly jumped onto the dry soil. The star demon in the distance also jumped up and surrounded them. There's so many star demon and 4 early-stage star demons. Are you sure you don't want me to wear armor? Su Qian nervously grabbed his shoulders, and her legs were so tense that she was almost riding on him. Next time, I'll show you a group battle. This time, I'll settle it quickly. Jiang Changkong knew that Su Qian was worried about her colleagues, so he didn't delay any longer. He took out the long blade, a 6th-order long blade. Ever since he got it, he had never used it. The sunset was like fire, and the sky was as red as blood. A dazzling ray of light lit up the swamp. Chi! There was a slight sound of wind breaking, and a ray of light flashed. In a night, the long blade was retracted, and the ground was full of star demon corpses. Not a single star demon was alive. Done! Jiang Changkong retracted the long blade, and the golden light around his body converged. Ask your colleagues to come down. This ground won't dry for long. Forcefully drying this place, but deep down, it was still a swamp. Unless he continuously basked here for a month, it would be impossible to dry the ground for a long time. Oh, Su Qian was still in a daze. Hearing this, she hurriedly contacted her colleagues. Jiang Changkong began to collect star stones. The harvest was not bad. 4 early-stage star spirits and 3 top-level star bodhisattva. 4 top-level Stargate star stones, 5 high-grade star stones, and none of the middle-grade or low-grade star stones. Chapter 155. The metal plate fell, and a dozen people jumped down. The ground was still hot. There were a total of 14 people. 5 of them were wearing black robes with a white cloud embroidered on them. The other 9 people were wearing ordinary clothes and had faint earth elemental energy fluctuations. They should be for Budokai. He put away his armor. It was a young man in the middle phase of Stargate. Assistant Sue, thank you for coming to help. And this person, thank you for helping. The young man quickly thanked him. The others also said, thank you for helping. You're welcome. I also accepted the mission to help the Research Institute build a stronghold, Jiang Changkong said calmly. As soon as he said that, the other 9 people's expressions changed at the same time. They had also accepted the mission and were here to compete with them for benefits. However, now that Ding Bang was not here and Jiang Changkong was so strong, they did not dare to say anything. Let me introduce you. This is the leader of the large Budokai from Jianghai Province, Roashi's good friend, Jiang Changkong. Su Qian introduced and pointed at the young man. Su Qian introduced and pointed to the young man. This is the leader of the research team, Yin Qing. Hello, Jiang Changkong. Jiang Changkong extended his hand. Yin Qing, let's work together in the future. The young man smiled. Of course. Jiang Changkong nodded and said, the star demon is already here. Let's go. Yes, let's go, Yin Qing quickly said. They did not even dare to collect the corpses. Jiang Changkong extracted their energy and burned them with the power of the sun. In fact, there was no star demon nearby. He deliberately said that. Now that they had the materials to build weapons, they did not need the corpses anymore. The group quickly walked out of the swamp area. They encountered the star demon along the way, but Jiang Changkong took care of them all. After leaving the swamp area, the group stopped and heaved a sigh of relief. We're out of danger. I'll report to Professor Yun now. Yin Qing took out the device and contacted Professor Yun, who was far away in Ping'an City. He told him about the matter and told Dingbang not to come. Professor Yun was a little shocked. Jiang Changkong killed 4 early-stage Star Soul, Star Demon, with 1 strike. There are other Star Demon below the level of Star Spirit? Yes, Professor Yun. This president from Jianghai Province is probably more powerful than in Dingbang. Yin Qing was still in shock. The expressions of the other 9 people changed slightly, and there was a faint trace of uneasiness. But Yin Qing didn't care what they thought, nor did she need to care. Budokai was not a small force, but it was only a small force. They still had to curry favor with the Research Institute. They were worried that the Research Institute would abandon them and use Jiang Changkong instead. It was also a large-scale Budokai, but the president was already so strong. The members must be very strong, right? I know, but Dingbang is already here. We only need to issue the mission and establish the stronghold. With that, Professor Yin hung up. As for who to choose, there was no need to choose. Since they had the strength, they could fight for it themselves. The mission had been issued. They just needed to complete it. Yin Qing was a little embarrassed. Well, Chiang Kai-sheng, Professor Yin doesn't know how to socialize. He's focused on research. Professor Yin is right. Everything depends on your own ability. Jiang Changkong said lightly, looking not far away. And Yuan Shan doesn't plan to come out? This guy, after entering the swamp area and seeing that they were fine, followed them and didn't show up. Brother Changkong. And Yuan Shan walked out of the weeds, smiling. Although I didn't see him, he saved them so quickly. His strength is extraordinary. Master and Yin Qing and the other 9 Budokai members greeted him at the same time. Jiang Changkong's expression was calm, and Yuan Shan was confident that he could face the Feng family of a large province. His status was very high. It was expected that these people would address him as master. However, they didn't know Yuan Shan's specific identity. They only knew that he was related to the army. Let's go back to the research stronghold first, Su Qian said. Okay. The group nodded and left together. I still have something to do. I'll go back first. And Yuan Shan smiled and turned to leave. It was already half an hour later when Jiang Changkong brought them back to the stronghold. The 9 Budokai members had already left. The group entered the stone house. Yin Qing took out tea leaves and brewed it. The fragrance of the tea overflowed with red light. Yao Guang tea. It's delicious. It's also available in Gangshui Castle. Chiang Kai-sheng, please. Yin Qing raised his cup and said, I'll cook later. Thank you, Chiang Kai-sheng. You're welcome. Jiang Changkong took a sip of tea. He wasn't very interested. He changed the topic and said, By the way, can you handle starstones here? Or do you want to go back to the Research Institute? Of course we can. Usually, other martial artists in Budokai will come to us. We charge a low fee. Of course, Budokai's missions are all free. Yin Qing smiled. Thank you. Please help me handle it. Jiang Changkong took out the star stone. Yin Qing held the star stone in his hand. He was a little excited. I wonder if Chiang Kai-sheng is interested in selling it? I'm not interested. If it's a 5th-grade star stone, I'll consider it, Jiang Changkong said. It's a pity. I don't have many 5th-grade star stones. Yin Qing shook his head. He was a little disappointed. Although disappointed, he didn't say anything and promised to help him handle it. After taking the star stone, Yin Qing said, You may have some trouble later. I'm afraid Dingbang will fight with you. Yes, but didn't he post on the official website of Budokai to ask someone to take him on the Abyss mission? Jiang Changkong frowned. Even if I can't take him with me, it shouldn't be a problem for me to do it together, right? Well, you may have misunderstood, Su Qian said. Su Qian continued. His message was meant for the people in the province. Many people in Budokai, in the Tranquil province, have been rejected by him, including many in the middle stage and even the late stage. Jiang Changkong, I get it. He's obviously trying to ride on someone's coattails. First, he sent a message to attract attention. Then he got the Star Stone for the people in the province. No one would do that to ride on someone else's coattails. Yun Qing couldn't help but laugh. Everyone in Ping and City knows what he's thinking, including the people in Budokai. And Ding Bang is a big and burly man. He's very snobbish. Once there's someone useful to him, he'll stick to them no matter what. Should useless people be abandoned like old shoes? Jiang Changkong asked indifferently. Not really. He's snobbish, but he's also very generous to his friends. He won't forget his old friends. Otherwise, people wouldn't follow him. Yin Shan explained. Jiang Changkong nodded and said no more. After finishing the tea, Yun Qing took out the pots and pans and began to cook. The other team members helped him. Su Qian accompanied him and drank tea in the room. You stole my star stone. Get out here. A rough roar was heard. A burly figure strode over, surrounded by dazzling starlight. I'm here. Jiang Changkong put down the teacup and said indifferently. It seemed that this guy wasn't stupid. Professor Yin wouldn't hide the news that he had gotten the Star Stone. If it weren't for Professor Yin, the members of Budokai would have told him about it. Combined with the power of the sun and the Star Stone, and Ding Bang would have guessed that it was him no matter how stupid he was. Jiang Changkong stepped out of the stone room and looked at him indifferently. What? Haven't you beaten me enough last time? And Ding Bong's face darkened. Bullsh asterisk T. I wasn't prepared last time. I was careless. That's why I lost to you. Chapter 156. Jiang Changkong stared at him, dumbfounded. You didn't prepare well last time? You lost because of carelessness? You were knocked out by me that day. How could that be called a loss? Yun Qing and the others were stunned. The two leaders had fought before, and Ding Bang lost to Jiang Changkong. Su Qian, who had just walked out of the stone house, looked at the two curiously. Jiang Changkong admired this guy's shamelessness. But if he didn't know what was good for him, he wouldn't mind teaching him a lesson again. I'll take this mission too. You can also find someone on the Budokai website to help. Let's do it together, and I'll take 70%. What do you think? Jiang Changkong said indifferently. First, you want to steal the star guiding stone, and now you want to steal the mission? And Ding Bang snorted, his face full of anger. I don't need you to team up for my mission. This time, I'll make you back off. Yun Qing waved at the people around him, put away the pots and pans, and stood aside, ready to watch the show. It wasn't easy to see two star spirits fighting. Moreover, one of these two people was famous for his defense. They wanted to see if Jiang Changkong's blade could break the defense of the Earth Energy Art. Since you said so, I'll give you some time to prepare. Jiang Changkong stood with his hands clasped behind his back, looking indifferent. And Ding Bong's expression was solemn. He took out his heavy sword, and the ground shook violently. The ground was like a swamp. Yellow light flashed, trying to shake the opponent. Jiang Changkong didn't move, but his astral power burst forth, dispersing the yellow light in an instant. 3 mountains, 5 peaks. And Ding Bang shouted and waved his heavy sword. The astral power surged, and the shadow of a mountain appeared. The majestic mountain, the heavy might, pounced on him. Su Qian and the others couldn't help but step back. A golden shield appeared around them. One blade, setting Sunday, the setting sun blade, shone brightly. The peak rank 6 saber carried a fiery glow as it flashed by. With a bang, the shadow of the mountain collapsed. The heavy sword paused, and the long blade pierced through the body. Pucci! Blood spurted out, and the powerful astral power pushed in Ding Bang backward. Bang! His body fell to the ground, and blood flowed out. The long blade pierced into the ground, and multicolored light shot out in tens of thousands of streaks, firmly nailing him to the ground. You! And Ding Bang opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of blood, looking at him in horror. Jiang Changkong's expression was calm as he walked over to him and searched for his spatial equipment. Not bad this time, 200 mid-grade 5th-tier star stones. Give it back to me. This is robbery. I'm the president of Budokai. And Ding Bang roared, disregarding his injuries. A duel between Budokai's guild leaders must have some stakes. Jiang Changkong accepted the Star Stone and said indifferently, "Oh, that's right. You were the one who made the first move. No one can say anything even if I kill you." And Ding Bong's expression changed immediately, and his tone softened. "We were only competing for the task, and it was a fair duel. You can't rob me." Jiang Changkong sneered, drew out his long blade, and put it on in Ding Bong's neck. "I hate trouble. Should he keep him? It would be great if he could bring more Star Stones next time. Robbing him once would keep him busy for a long time. He didn't have a large source of energy now, but this guy would learn to be smart and not bring Star Stones next time." Without Star Stones, he attacked again and again. This would be troublesome. Sensing a trace of killing intent, and Ding Bong's expression changed several times, and he shouted anxiously, "You can't kill me. I'm the guild leader. My elder brother is the prodigy Li Changtian of the province. He's very powerful." Jiang Changkong. The prodigy Li Changtian of the province? Very powerful? I'm afraid you've acknowledged a fake big brother. Forget it. It's not a big grudge, Su Qian said. She kept hinting with her eyes that Jiang Changkong shouldn't act recklessly. Yun Qing also said hurriedly, "Both of you are building a stronghold for the research institute. If you fight to the death, my research institute will seem cold and heartless." Jiang Changkong thought for a while, and then he put away his blade. "How about this? Why don't we have a cup of tea together? No discord, no concord," Yin Qing said with a sigh of relief. "Who wants to have tea with him?" "Humph, it's just that my weapon is not as good as yours this time." And Ding Bang snorted coldly, turned around, and left. Jiang Changkong was stunned, and Su Qian and the others were confused. "Your weapon is not as good as Jiang Changkong's?" "Well, it's not as good, but your strength is obviously not as good, okay? Forget it, Changkong, don't bother with him. He's just a snobbish guy." Yin Qing spat. She was afraid that Jiang Changkong would feel uncomfortable and run over to kill Ding Bang. Jiang Changkong waved his hand and said, "It's okay. I just want to see that genius from the big province, so I kept him alive. Li Changtian, I didn't expect you to come here. It's fine that you left without saying goodbye and ran away in advance, but it depends on how many Star Stones you brought this time. Let's continue to cook. Assistant Su, please take care of Changkong," Yin Qing said. Su Qian nodded and invited him into the house to continue drinking tea. Su Qian took a sip of tea and put down the teacup. She said, "Li Changtian suddenly contacted the Sea clan these days, and his family has taken him seriously." "Oh," Jiang Changkong replied faintly, without much of a reaction. "You made the right choice just now. If you really kill him and provoke Li Changtian, not only will the Li clan be involved, but also the Sea clan," Su Qian continued. "At that time, even Professor Yun can't help you. You can only join the army and look for Uncle, and is this also the reason Wine Yuan Shan left in advance?" Jiang Changkong smiled faintly. "And Yuan Shan still had this idea." Su Qian nodded. "Although you didn't kill Ding Bang, you've become enemies. He is likely to invite Li Changtian. It's better if he comes." Jiang Changkong chuckled and changed the topic. "By the way, do you know what happened in the Starlight Distorted Land not long ago?" "I know. Do you want to say how impressive you were at that time?" Su Qian looked as if she had guessed it. "No, I want to ask, who did the dozens of places belong to at that time? And Ding Bang, the president of Budokai, should have a place. Did he sell at that time?" Jiang Changkong asked the question in his heart. Su Qian nodded and said, "Yes, he had 2 places in his hand. He sold both for 1,000 Star Stones of the upper grade of the 5th stage." "What about the Star Stones? Don't you people in Ping'an City like to carry them with you?" Jiang Changkong frowned. Could it be that they were hidden? "They were given to Li Changtian as a show of filial respect," Su Qian said. "Except for a few, most of those who sold their places wanted to climb up the ranks. Therefore, they tried their best to contact the geniuses of the major provinces." Jiang Changkong. "The major province's trick was very clever. I used the Star Stones to buy your place, and then you gave the Star Stones to me as a show of filial respect. What the hell? Taking it for free." "Of course, it couldn't be considered as taking it for free. With the Starstones, they might not necessarily show their filial respect to the geniuses who bought them. They could show their filial respect to the big forces they wanted to join and then join. If he learned it, would he be able to do the same when his strength improved in the future? Jiang Changkong did not continue this topic. Well, let's not talk about this anymore. Are you going back tomorrow or staying here? I plan to stay here with Yin Qing and the others. What's the matter? Su Qian asked. Well, I'm going to see that friend and tell him about the cold pool. I'll be back tomorrow or 2 or 3 days later. Why don't you give him a call? He doesn't use the phone. He only likes to discuss things in person.